Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors, citizens, residents, visitors, and welcome back to the main show in the multiplex. Happy Sunday if you are in the UK. A very happy Mother's Day to you if you've been marking it with your own mum or your grandma or your wife who's a mother or spouse or partner who's mother, or any sort of proxy of all that good stuff and the crucially important, wonderful role they play in so many of our lives. And good evening to you lovely townspeople who are already here for my preamble warm-up, the background blues and the thrash metal. Lord Darkins, good evening. You weren't sure. Now I know I'm running a little bit behind and I'll get to as and why. Cozy, welcome on in. And George as well, pleasure. Three absolute vets and all-round top chaps. I do appreciate it, and any and all of you already chilling in Lurkerland, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. So what is new? Well, since what's been going on since Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. Well, obviously some of you here will have been keeping up to date with my, frankly, more frequent, at long last, as they should be, updates in the town and happenings and whatnot, as well as more frequent updates on my socials. Again, as I should be doing, I finally get bringing all that out of hibernation as I get back into the new habits. After the rather nasty bout of food poisoning, as my own dear mum would say, it knocked the stuffing out of me a little bit. Wednesday's stream was, as I'm sure some of you picked up on, a little more low-key, slightly lower energy, sort of midweek anyway, but after the sort of Sunday return and all that stuff, I was just like, wasn't quite firing on all 6 or 8 or 4 cylinders, but I didn't want to do the sort of whole coming back to this after so long and then just have a week-long gap, so I wanted to start maintaining a little bit of consistency. What has suffered there is for this week, which is understandably so, is my gym attendance. So bad me, I'm a little bit annoyed with myself that I made it on Tuesday, which is the day that the food poisoning was at its worst, thinking that a bit of exercise and moving around, something might just be a bit off and I'll get it out of my system with some exercise, and I was wrong. But as I'm bulking, I'm in a calorie surplus at the moment, trying to put a bit more size on after a deficit for a tad too long. I wasn't doing very well when I say not keeping my food down. My appetite was suppressed. That was it. So Tuesday, obviously, and on Wednesday as well, and Thursday a bit too. I only started to really feel properly back to my old self by Friday. I had a very long working week, so I was pretty knackered. Thursday's an especially long day anyway, because that's my day in London, currently still in Oxford, so it's a long commute. Thankfully only one day a week, but it's about 13 and a half hour day, so I was pretty cream crackered by the end of it. Just touch on, yes, I can't believe you got me back to FTL. I've been playing it so much this last week. You are welcome, George, and you're not the only one. K Majesty, Knackered Housewife, she WhatsApped me this afternoon saying much the same things, catching up, and posted in the game arcade with the most ridiculously kind, generous route ever. I don't know if you've already caught it, but it's like 7 out of 8 civilian sector, all the way, and it's just the boss one at the end. So I hope, for the sake of such an incredible roll of the dice, I didn't realise it could be that nice on normal mode for sector layout, that she makes it all the way to the boss. There's a tall game I hear is like a tall ship game I hear is like FTL, called Abandoned Ship. Oh, interesting. I don't know what would be a good place to put that in. Game arcade, or somewhere suitable in town for sort of game related links and things like that. If you find a link for it, interesting, or the suggestion forum if you think it would be a good one for the stream, or wherever. There's a number of places where that would be a suitable thing to deposit if you want me to take a look. And thank you, Darkins. So yeah, what's the remainder of the week was otherwise pretty good. It's been another good. It's actually a really good working week. As some of you know, I have been in this job that I'm currently in, coming up for 2 months now. It'll be 2 months at the end of this month. I started on the 1st of February. Really enjoying it. Really, really genuinely loving it. It's already rapidly on track for becoming the best job I've had since my last best job, which was this awesome contractual gig, internal contracting gig I had in a multimedia lab that I sort of planned and set up and then managed when I was living in Belgium. I was in Brussels from 2013 to 2015. I had this great multimedia lab that was paired wonderfully with this Fab Lab, which is short for Fabrication Laboratory. So the Fab Lab did 3D printing and milling machines and 3D scanning and all this kind of that sort of stuff when all of that was really coming up as sort of the Internet of Things and mass-produced customization and all these kind of hardware tech buzzwords. And then when VR was just starting to get looked into, the early days, the Oculus Rift and all that, I had that on that side. Anyway, the 2 years that I did that, just under 2 years, it was a delight. And that was my transition from sort of being full-time 3D artist, games person, to becoming a product specialist. Led me on to the product management track that my career has taken the better part of the last decade now. But yeah, I always called that my nerdvana. But we've now got a challenger for the crown. It's only a little way in. There's who knows how things are going to pan out, but a lot of that is in my purview because I am the head of product for this tech startup in London, and I'm really enjoying it. My colleagues are absolutely wonderful and so accommodating, and it's great. But so yeah, particularly good working week, but I had a lot going on. It's been rather hard and a little frustrating that because I didn't get all my calories in and my mood was a bit low, I didn't hit the gym very much. So I'm feeling like that a bit of a lack of energy from the lack of exercise and output and everything else. I'm sure some of you like to sort of keep regularly fit and move about quite a bit, or just have that perhaps for a job, or get where I'm coming from. And over the weekend I was hoping to catch up with myself, but that username is amazing. I feel I haven't seen it before, but it's also incredibly memorable, so I feel like I maybe actually have done. And you obviously remember me with that, Krayven. For those of you who are listening as you get around and potter around the house, or are just glancing in and out while you're playing your own games, good evening, the most flaccid celery. Yes, okay. I think when I popped up in another chat a little while ago, because I appear on Twitch incredibly intermittently when I'm not streaming myself, I think you said hi. And you mentioned that you'd had about 2 name changes since I last saw you. That is the best one, but keep that for a while. That is funny as fuck. I like it. Because celery by its nature is rather stiff and erect. It should really consult its doctor, because it's maintained that situation for a lot longer than 4 hours. And you're not just flaccid celery, the most flaccid celery. It's like, I'm the most flaccid celery. Like, seriously, it's more flaccid than any other celery. Already locked the brand in. Good man. Congrats. Thank you, See You Dying. Good evening to you. Welcome on in. The Saturday. So I have to admit, I didn't pop up really anywhere, including in the town, on Saturday. I actually went out socialising again. I had a very socially active January and February, so as I got my first paycheck from the new job at the end of Feb, I sort of eased back a bit and had a couple of weekends in to just gather myself, catch up on life, and also keep some money in the bank. But yeah, I hadn't seen a number of my local friends, the Oxford friends of whom Redweird is one, around for a better part of a month, at least 3 weeks. Anyway, this weekend just been, for some of you will know, was St. Patrick's Day, or so Friday was St. Patrick's Day itself, and so it's the St. Paddy's weekend. If it falls around a weekend, it's always a grand time. I'm part Irish. Now, by American standards, I've got a lot of Irish in me. By British standards, pretty average amount. I'm somewhere between a quarter and an eighth I have both a great-grandparent and some other more extended family, so it doesn't quite make for an even fraction. I think about 3/8. Anyway, the Six Nations was also on. Many of you won't know what that is. It's a major rugby tournament, and it's like the big one for sort of European teams, which, to be fair, heavily skews to British Isles. So we've got England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Italy, and France. And we were supporting Ireland. So some of you might be on my Insta will have seen a picture I put out of myself and Redweird. And if you're not, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So there, have some social links. But yeah, we're in our green shirts, and Ireland won the Grand Slam. So we were sinking quite a few beers all afternoon. A great time was had, and it was all three teams were playing. So we had Italy, Scotland, which were really good. Italy played their hearts out. I was rooting for Italy, mainly because lady I'm seeing is Italian, but also because Scotland always root against England in anything, no matter what they're doing. So fuck Scotland. But Italy played their hearts out. Scotland won in the end, but it wasn't as close as the actual game was in the scoreline. France demolished Wales. We were watching that in the background, but mainly talking, and then Ireland, England was the big one, which is always conflicted when you a mix of both. But I was in my Ireland shirt and cheering on, and yeah, it was a good crack. Plus, actually catching up with some friends again, being out in the pub, which was really, really nice. Get Georgia into Six Nations? Yes, actually, George, that's a really good point. I'll come to that. How you doing? I haven't seen you in so long. Yes, I know, Celery. I've been 2 years, 6 months, and 16 days. Well, actually, more than that, and a week since when I started last Sunday. How am I doing? That's a long answer to a nice quick question, but suffice to say at the moment, very well. Ducks in a row in life and career and physical health and fitness training and all kinds of personal things. So yeah, and production values and enough stuff got done, enough things were set up that I could and enough in a tiny bit dickheads dealt with, that I was able to come back and felt able to do this again. So yeah, in a nutshell, solid. How's yourself? What's the haps? I don't know what your news and what you've been doing with yourself since I paused in mid 2020. And yeah, George, so there's I expect a number of you don't know rugby necessarily that well, but there's also another sort of tier down of teams that play, national teams that are also very good. So the teams like Georgia and so on play at a level, but Italy keep. The best they do is fourth place. They usually come last in the Six Nations, and there's a consideration of doing Six Nations but bringing Georgia in and taking Italy out and playing one tier down, so that Georgia could improve further. And I have to admit, once that was explained to me on Saturday, I think it's worth a go. So I agree in a nutshell, George. Get Georgia into the Six Nations, give them a chance at it, because I think that would be good. They're a very good rugby team. And of course, today to bring things up to date, and then I'll actually fire up ESO. I blasted down to see Kraymum, which was a delight, and it turns out I thought I hadn't caught up with her in a month, which is a little while usually because she only lives 20 miles south of here. So, and it's a very easy drive. It's pretty straightforward from my apartment here to her house, and yeah, but I got my wires crossed because between starting a new job, restarting this, kind of, not yet, but on the ways towards potentially starting a new relationship, but early days and touch wood, we'll see. But between all of that and also starting a new gym routine, like every aspect of my life had like these major new beginnings and new chapters. The last time she saw me was actually just shy of almost 2 months ago, like a week before I started the new job. And I was like, yeah, it's been about 4 weeks. She's like, no, it's like 7 or 8. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible son. But no, she's been so cool about sort of just like staying in touch and hey, how you doing? And I do, we WhatsApp quite regularly, so I send her regular updates and full things about what's going on. But yeah, today was really nice. I'll make sure I catch back up on the chat in a second. And what did we do? So yeah, just nice and low key. Drove down in the afternoon for Sunday lunch. I was thinking I'll take her out and stuff. She's like, no, I'll cook here and do it. Just be nice to see you, and we could just have time to ourselves. I was like, hey, great, home cooked meal, fantastic. Got the card sorted and did a flower trade. I like to grow some flowers here, and she used to be a florist, so nothing in her garden ever dies. She's like, if she was in D&D, she'd be a druid, like one of those enchanted fae people with an immortal garden. So got me some new bulbs so I can be growing some fresh daffodils and other bits and pieces around here, because I quite enjoy it and it gives the place a little bit of life. So did all that, but what did I do? She's got the card. Treated her. She's going with a friend for like 4 days to London to do a bunch of cultural stuff. They're seeing a show in the West End, and they're going to a gallery, a special exhibition at the V&A, the Victoria and Albert Museum, and a bunch of other things, which is really lovely. So I was like, right, that ticket, that. And she's like, oh, just the show will be fun. I was like, no, fuck that, come on, right? What's the gallery? What's this? Anyway, so I've paid for the trip. So paid for her side of it, of all the things she wants to do as like her Mother's Day gifts and that, and caught up with her all the news. So that's all sorted now. I've taken care, done things, had a lovely afternoon and everything. But because I'm me and I'm always running late, I'm always running a bit behind. I meant to get there for about 1:15, and got there about 2:15. So I sort of pushed up my whole afternoon. I didn't want to dash off. I was like, oh, hey, sorry, Mum, I haven't seen you in 2 months and it's Mother's Day, but I've got to piss off and start the stream now. She knows I've restarted doing this, but I was like, nah, real life comes first, as I always say on here, and seeing your mum comes first. So yeah, apologies that this is underway a little bit late, but I'm here, I've made it, and that's where things are. So that's sort of all the updates. For those of you who want here for the ins and outs and these opening preambles and chat, and or not necessarily in the town, but if you're not and you'd like to be, oh my god, there it is. And yes, sorry, I can't English today. Properly catch up on the chat. Flash said, thank you, dude. You're doing okay. Just busting my ass for family and friends and dealing with agony. The normal stuff. I'm sorry to hear dealing with agony. Is it physical pain? Have you injured yourself or something's going on? I hope said agony stops being normal and passes, and things are going okay with family and friends. But I'm glad overall things are okay. I hope at work, or I don't know if were you in college, uni, and now you're out? I don't know what you're doing with yourselves to earn a crust these days. But I hope the good things continue to go okay, and I hope the bad things ease up, or the less good things, I should say, ease up. We also beat Italy and Wales over the last 12 months. I did not know that about Georgia. The real reason is money. Okay. Huh. I didn't know that about Georgia. Well, even more case to get them into Six Nations. And C Died says, FYI, found a puzzle logic game that would be great to do your head in with. Love having my head done. And where should I post about it? If it's a suggestion of something I should play, well, good question. Let me double check, because Darkens brought up something a little earlier about something like FTL but involving regular ships. So if it's about just a game, there's the Game Arcade. Posting anything about games is a-okay there. If it's something you think I particularly should play on stream, we've got the suggestion forum. So both of those options are good. Thanks for asking, mate. Great, you reinvented yourself. To be honest, to an extent. This is if you're referring to the stream, that is, and all that, it's still much as it was. It's just I look at this as an evolution, because I never intended to fully stop and quit or come back with a total fresh start. I mean, this is as close to a fresh start as it gets, but you can see the style and the kind of grid and the look. It still leans on the old one, but a lot fancier and shinier and nicer. But all this stuff done in After Effects was informed by the previous one. It's still got the town theme, and it's still the main broadcast from the content multiplex, where this is an output from the community, as opposed to the community is sort of bolted on to the channel, blah diddy blah diddy blah. But yeah, as things in my life change and things move forward, those inform the kind of vibe and structure of the stream, and things are a little different. I think evolved would be the adjective I would use, and they're sort of involved in a good way. Thank you, regardless. It's a very kind compliment. And a happy Mother's Day and all, but my internet friends take priority. Craven, probably. Totes. George, I told you to get that spy software out of my stuff and that camera out of my bathroom. It's either that or split the OnlyFans money with me. Brits will pay money to visit Italy for a Six Nations match, but not Georgia. Okay. I have to admit, any excuse to visit Italy, and it's not because herself lives there either. Well, that's a big reason why. But yeah. God, bastard, damn it, fucking. Thank you. Cheers, Darkest. Things more about the IRL changes and just reinvented. Yes, and likewise again, evolved, improved, picked myself back up after a nasty unexpected bump with the job that I thought was a dream job and turned out to be a bit of a nightmare job. And but with some strength of character and emotional resilience and general emotional maturity, I was like, right, this isn't the first curveball life has thrown you. You can deal with it. And thank you sincerely for the 75 biddies. George is running the Rugby Europe Championship. That's the one below the Six Nations. Yes, 13 of the last 15 years. You love doing it. I couldn't tell. I'd never picked up that you really, really enjoy that. But I do appreciate, in all sincerity, as you know, I do appreciate the support. So thank you very much. Oof, that's one of my typical 30-minute preambles, usually the kind of end of the week / start of the week that the Sunday stream occupies is that. And I expect some people pop by to like, oh, cool, some ESO content. It's just a self-indulgent dickhead who won't shut up. I'm leaving. So hello, Trading Finn. Welcome on in. Pleasure to have you. So I think at that point, that is a good opportunity to go bing, right, let's actually do some Murkmire. Well, some stuff around in the game and the world and oogly boo and bloody blah, and then move into some Murkmire content, because otherwise, if I'm just doing it in my downtime, I will never get through the DLC. Now that I'm actually streaming, it's a good chunk of my gaming time again. We've also never finished outside the top 3, so yeah, money and all. I get it. Okie dokie. Let's fire this back up, log in, and hopefully when I change scene, it will pick it up right away, because it doesn't have the same issue that the... that's probably deafeningly loud. I will adjust the game volume once I'm actually in it properly. So yeah, this will battle with my voice a little bit for the time being, but it's fine, but it's good. And Trading Fin, a happy Sunday to you. Trading Fin 1983, I should say. It's the year of our Trading Fin, 1983. Pleasure to have you here. ESO fan, recommended by a friend, or just passing through to go, what's the crack here? Regardless. And of course, if you're lurking, lurk away. But happy to have you and a happy Sunday. Looking forward to seeing what a jump scare will do in ESO. Well, probably what most of the jump scares do most of the time. Make me piss myself, and glad that the camera is only at chest level. Alright, let's see what the crack is. Will it pick it up? It's full screen. It should recognise. Now, I tested this with George. Yes, good. I did test this on the test before I did the first comeback stream last Sunday. So this is good. Right. I've never done this one on stream before. Obviously, this is a brand new one for coming back. Oh, and we've got a hunt. I'll get involved in some of that. A hunt in the chat if you want to use some chits for it. If you don't know what chits are, !chits to find out. And of course, let's get some essentials. I'm a bit slow around the older soundboard because I've got so many options now that I'm trying to find them. All aboard for a hunt. One of the sound effects on the list. The thing is though, they are very, very, very aggressive. So I'm trying to find a balance. Like I said, with the reason I took the excessive number of sound effects away, I wanted the viewer rewards to be a balance of stuff that's funny, that could be triggered, but isn't going to become too off-putting. If someone's like, oh, that's a really awkward and not at all funny moment to fire it, I'll do it stuff. So I had to kind of make the option either way. So sorry, man. Watched your stream before 2 years ago. Well, thank you so much for finding me. Yes, 2 years, 6 months and 16 days until last Sunday when I came back. So I only pretty much have the one character, well, two. I started this one, didn't take him too far because the guildies I played with were fellow streamers and still do, fellow streaming friends, people like LOL Wendy and K-Pow and Dawn Whisper. I think 2 out of 3 of them were Aldmeri Dominion, so I was like, I'll roll another one, Aldmeri Dominion. So Krayven, because some knobber has got the version with 1 N, is my High Elf, my Altmer. He's a Dragon Knight, so very, very good for magic DPS, but I initially rolled in to play a tank before finding out that doing that particular race combo for a tank is playing a tank on hard mode. I'll talk a lot about him because this is like basically since I put the streaming down is where I've been doing this. How did we go versus Plated Dust Vipers? There's a lot to say. Oh, we all got a pretty even split there. That's good. And by the way, my liege, I appreciate the use of my liege. Okay, let's oof.
I can't wait to take a load off
should ease up in just a second. The stream's trying to do an off. OBS and this and a bunch of other things at very high settings. Good, that's tidied up now. Yes, for the sound ones, no, but for the personalized text commands, only a couple of people ever redeem them, you and Clone Person, so I kept those in because that's a nice chit thing. It was a particularly personalized aspect of cool support that was tied into the community, so there isn't a way to redeem those anymore, so those 2 of you that have got them for life. I wasn't going to take that away from you, mate, no worries. Hassad decided upon a punishment of the violations of oral expression enforcement times. That's a delightful way to put it. And yes, I'm going to sort it out. Who was it? I think it was George, either Melissa or George, suggested, hello, Drazar, good evening to you. It's going very well. It's been a lovely Sunday. It's been Mother's Day in the UK, so I've been spending the afternoon with Kraymum. How are you, and how's your week been, dude? Welcome to ESO. How are my listings doing? So this is the Guild Trader, if you don't know the game all that well. Oh, actually, I've got some mail. I sold some things. A couple of treasure maps. Excellent. So I'm in about 5 guilds, 3 with streamer friends. 1 is my main guild, Bodge and Leggett, with the Bodgers, and those are the ones I do trials with, I say the main tank. We've got 3 tiers. We've got the Proggers team who do the progress. They do the veteran hard mode trials. We've got the veteran learning runs, and I'm still learning veteran trial content. We're as far as halls of fabrication now on vet, so I'm the main tank in that, or one of the main tanks. And then there's the normal learning stuff, a sort of entry level stuff, which I've cleared quite a while ago now. So that's all good. Yes, sorry, I got distracted with there. So yeah, the idea of having a sort of swear hat, but a dunce's hat. So I need to actually look up a suitable silly hat that I can order on Amazon or something, and then I'll have it nearby. But I do have a good proxy because it was St. Paddy's Day weekend, and obviously I had a few Guinnesses. I do have the Guinness hat you get if you drink 3 pints or more, so I can. I'll have to find a way to do this with the headphones, so it's something that goes around the headphones, or finally perhaps get some new headphones. So I'll have this on for the I'll have if anyone redeems 10 minutes of no naughty words and I break it, I put this on. I'm gonna have to start like putting like badges and things and increasingly insulting stuff. Like I'll probably have to buy some tiny dildo and like get a little dickhead badge, an actual cock coming out of it, and like all kinds of shit. So the more egregious things I say, if the redemption is running, the more I am forced to humiliate myself with the hat on stream. I really like the idea. I think it's got a lot of legs. Last time I played around was the start and everyone was stealing kills. 2014. Yes, I had this since the beta, and then although I'm a massive Elder Scrolls fan, I never really got into it too much. How many spaces have I got? Only 2 for any new stuff. I've got anything to list. I was like, this has got some good legs, but I never got so particularly into it. I put it down, but when I was streaming the first time and meeting other streamers, they knew I was big into the Elder Scrolls, and it's like, oh, you should do ESO, and then when I was on pause, I sort of had a bit more time. I got sort of really into it. Deadlands treasure map is not worth that much money. By the way, there's these kind of, I've got various mods in, so this is tracking the markets and things like that. Let's get rid of this Deshaan. I don't need anything from Deshaan, so that's fine. Just list that. And some of these Cyrodiil ones, because I cannot be bothered to chase them down. Actually, no, that's good for PvP stuff for the sticker book. Betnik gives you training items that are a pain to get. Let's get rid of this Bankerai. Yeah, I don't need really much from Bankerai. Let's list that as well. Okay, job is good. I'm good, thanks. Week's been okay. Had Friday off and spent the day with my daughter. Oh, delightful. That's very nice. Had chill Saturday and managed to get out on the bike today. Gained some adverts. What does gain some adverts mean? Does that mean ads popped up for you here, or am I missing some context there? That sounds really, really good. You got out on the bike. Was that a push bike, cycling, or motorbike riding? Nice day for it, whatever it was. Plus, no way to really track friends and all the consoles. I was never able to get into the game. You're on console. Yeah, I have to admit, something like an MMO like this, I would definitely be doing that PC or bust. So I understand what you mean. Right, let's nip over to my main base of operations, which is Northern Elsewhere, which is where my totally bitchin' house is. Ads popped up. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm not very good at running pre-roll and post-roll, so everyone gets a break from it, so I'm afraid they do just tend to happen. 10 minutes no swearing. Okay, when did you redeem that? Let's look at the clock. Right, so that was about 8:38, so I've got to go until 8:48 my time with no naughty words, or I have to wear the Guinness hat of rudeness and stupidity. And wear yet to be well. I have this temporary one from St. Patrick's Day weekend that I can put on in its place until I order a proper one and varies. You almost got a mother flocker out of me there. Nice try. Nice try. You see this is the swearing discipline of a Shaolin monk, mate. There are some delightful silly hats upon the UK Amazon. If you find a few good links, stick them in the suggestion forum if you feel so inclined. No obligation of torch. What did I feel like I've missed some bits. No, I think you got 125cc motorbike. Awesome stuff. And of course, thank you very much. I should say thank you for the 75 biddies, Darkens. Okay, next, I'm just going to do a quick look to see what the guild banks have got. I don't have a great lot to exchange into them at the moment as I try and be fair, but at the same time, I've put quite a few epic recipes and other bits and pieces in them in the past. So just have a quick scab for stuff. No, let's change that. See what bodge and Lego we've got going on. Nicely sort of whip through. No, I've pretty much learned or got everything that is going on there. Try not to take too much stuff that's coming out with the new DLC, because I'll get that in my own time. That's like the Necrom. Nope, everything in there. Okay, I think we'll nip over to Murkmire and take care of the dailies first. The daily delve and the boss. Hopefully it's the necromancer and not the vine lurcher, because the vine lurcher's self-healing makes him almost impossible to solo unless you have absolutely nuclear levels of DPS. And I'm okay-ish, but I'm not that good. I'm better as a tank, and I'm only a moderate tank, to be honest. Holy mother forking shirt balls. Indeed, I'm going to have to go into the good place mode with the naughty language. Monks can be bribed, so we shall find your weakness, or rather, do worry. Thing is, DW can be used for don't worry or do worry, or again, I had a genuinely good joke to make there, but it involves something dirty and naughty words, so I've got to wait another 6 minutes until I can make it. Hope you. Why? No swearing redemption. I wonder if the no swearing redemption counts for just bad words or also inappropriate things. I might have to become more creative so I can be inappropriate without being directly dirty. I made the joke for you in my mind. Good. That's why you're a good fit for the community. So if I decide to do ESO again, it'll be on PC. Good idea. I mean, I'm on the EU server. I figured you'd probably be on the North American one given times and that. So just actually, before I run off I'll do some boss. I'll do some actual content. Let me know about the game volume, by the way, especially when things start getting aggressive. Oh, yes. We'll actually get 2 dailies out of this, because I got the leftover boss daily from a little while ago. And we'll clear this, hand it in, and then we'll have another one for today's one ready to go. Now, this particular fellow, assuming he's not been recently killed unless we've got to wait on a timer, although if we do, I can just chat and talk about my character and achievements and just introduce you folks to what I've been doing with this game while I've been away all this time a bit more. My delightful, super pretty leprosy horse. It looks like he's been recently killed. He's obviously the daily again today, that's why people are lingering around to deal with him. Alright, well we can do the grave stakes bit because there's a little task to do alongside... oh, it's not the grave stakes. There's several versions on this, so it's burn the corrupted heart roots. Take care of that. Do worry about your naughty influence on this fine. Family safe stream, ready for prime time. Ready for prime time, yes. Family safe. Almost did it again. F no. F no. F in chat no. Right, let's get this little rune stone. Every once in a blue moon you actually get a Hokkaido, which is the rarest kind of rune. You can't get them anywhere but this, and they sell for stupid sums of money because you use them for the tri-focus or the prism, this multi-effect defense. Let me see, I think I've got one of my enchantments. Yeah, no, that's a multi-effect enchantment. No, that's the new one. What is it? It'll be on my tanking gear. That's it. Where is the perfected Yolnakreen's Oogly Boo? Is it? Yeah, multi-effect adds X max magicka health and stamina. That's a multi-effect enchantment that requires the fancier rune. I've got to burn more heart roots. There's about a 10-minute timer, 10-15 minute timer on the boss coming back. Usually faster, I think potentially faster. They're getting killed more frequently. Just got to find where this darn these other 4 heart roots are. So yes, by the way, this is actually a, what is it, mushroom horse, fungal horse? I'll bring up my collections. What's my current mount? Yeah, Sandra's more of the Spore Steed. I've got the pet as well. So this is a pre-order bonus if you pre-ordered the latest DLC Necrom, and it looked very, very, very good. I am one to willingly do pre-orders for all the perks if the stuff looks good. And it's back in Morrowind, but a whole new area. Morrowind was what got me into the Elder Scrolls, the original Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, as well as my going to career in the games industry because the job was just that amazing. It's a brand new part of it that's never been seen before. It's also got some kind of eldritch horror elements because Saedrith Mora, the Daedric Lord, Saedrith Mora, Lord of Knowledge, he's not necessarily evil, he's quite neutral as they go, is a primary character in it. He's not necessarily the one you're up against. You're potentially going alongside him, which is more interesting, but there's still Lovecraftian elements because he's a giant load of floating eyeballs and tentacles and things like that. His realm is like there's all these characters made, these libraries made of infinite amounts of knowledge and paper. Ah, there he is. Right, don't be tricked by this 153k health of Baxilt-Gah. He's going to come back tougher. Regular world bosses these days are an absolute piece of pee. Almost said something worse due to power creep. Hang on, what's my buffing? Never mind. Let's just go. The cool thing is I've got the Ring of the Pale Order, which means when I'm soloing, nothing but me can heal me. But all the damage I do, I get 20% of it back as health. But that works out rather well. So I have managed to solo this guy, this world boss. Okay, he's just summoning up all his little dudes. I'm not going to waste an ultimate on that. Okay, and then he's going to have some somewhat tougher minions start coming in. Don't look at my DPS passes for this. They're going to be absolutely horrific. Oh, we've got some... Okay, there's someone else here as well, so this will be... Considering I've soloed this, because he has so many adds, it means that even without any heals on my bars, just with a sort of pure magicka DPS setup, I get so much health back from the damage I'm dealing, I don't tend to get into too much trouble. Although my buff food just ran out, and that'll get squeaky bum time. So let's have a quick full course Sunday meal in the middle of a battle, because that makes logical sense. Okay. And in any hour now... Okay, there he is 5.1 bajillion health.
Your flesh will suffice, though I prefer a bit more meat on the bone.
Okay.
I command the
Standard of might
death.
down, and everything he summons is going to melt in a heartbeat. But with these other people here, he's just going to die in really quite quickly. Move out the stupid. I've set mine to pink so it's nice and obvious. Okay, my standard is already melting his little skeletons that he's summoning, so we're just going to focus on the boss. I've got Wall of the Depths as well, so the 5-piece set bonus from that is proving quite handy. Which is good. Just see if I can work on my Magicka Sustain a little bit better. Probably shouldn't have done Flawless Dawnbreaker there. I've got that mainly for the slotting rather than triggering it. But I'm being a little wasteful. Main spammable is... actually, Potion is on cooldown. Main spammable is Lava Whip. So I've got to make better use of that. I've got Miri, my companion. Those are newer additions to the game. Those of you who haven't played in a long time or not played before. I've got her operating as a healer, which is nice. Trashiest of pandas, hello! I've just gotten here and you prefer some what? And that's 8:49. I can fucking swear again. Yay! Huzzah, freedom. See you dying, I hate you. I consider that little window just between it. Something about bums, always something about... Right, I am definitely going to have to add a cooldown to that. I didn't realise it could be instantly redeemed again. Because that will go from a fun little thing to do maybe once an hour to being incredibly irritating. And boss dead. We're going to have to come here and kill him again because it's going to be the daily again. I redeemed at 37, so... Wait, you were able to redeem it before it ran out? Ah, okay. That's, fair enough. That is a problem. That is a problem because a reward should be able to be redeemed more quickly than it lasts. But I will... Well, I'll have to rectify that another stream. No. I'm giving myself a pass for that because I genuinely, from here on out, I will respect it again. From the 49, I will. But I didn't realise that there wasn't a cooldown on it. In actual fact, to that end, provided it doesn't break anything. Just because otherwise that will go from being... I will respect it, I will honour it, but it will go from being a fun thing to do to being genuinely straight up irritating. I will try and modify that a little bit. Oh, no, not that. What are the actual rewards? I could have sworn there was a redemption delay. Oh, cooldown. Yes. Right, there wasn't one on. My bad. Limit redemptions per stream. No, let's just put on like 100 for that. Limits redemptions per user per stream. Maybe so no one takes the mickey with it too much. Right. Hopefully that will dynamically update it in real time. Oakley dokley. Where were we at? Here. And back to where we were. Does need a cooldown, yes indeed. Okay, well it's got one now. It's got a 30-minute one. Like I said, George, yes, technically, if you did one at 37, but if you could redeem it before it runs out, it was not working in the spirit of what it was intended. So I'm giving it a cooldown anyway, because otherwise that's not fair or fun. So here's a fun idea. You need to sew them together, two hats. I've now made the cooldown 30 minutes for now. If that turns out to still be too much, we'll find a balance because it's a brand new reward. Anyway, it's being honoured 50, so I will now go until 9 PM with a good wholesome Christian language. Hopefully. Okay, corrupted heart roots. We've burned the final heart root, and then we'll come back, and we won't be doing this exact thing. Well, it'll be exactly that, except the running around. Instead of burning 4 heart roots, it'll be something like burying 4 grave stakes or something like that. But he's a fun fight. It's nice to do something with loads of AoE spam, especially with the Ring of the Pale Order. Okay, we can hand that in. And just, to introduce, so what am I currently running around in? Trying to level up my light armor. So one of the better items, especially for AoE DPS, is the Wall of the Depths set. I think one of the best in slots for AoE Magicka DPS. Not the perfected version, because I'm nowhere near ready to be running through... Oh, what's the latest trial called? Not Rockgrove. Dreadsail Reef? Yeah, I think it's Dreadsail Reef. The perfected Sash of the Depths, but still the regular ones are solid. I've got entry level Briarheart on the rest of it at the moment, because it'll do. It's fine. It's still very powerful, pairs nicely. Eventually I'll save up and get something like Reliquin if I go elsewhere. Since it starts after the dream, it means it'll be 20 minutes after the redemption ends before it... Exactly. That was roughly my rationale. And oh yes, what I was going to do, this particular bad boy here. Oh, my camera's... I can describe it. It's only blocking the blurb, the flavor text, which I can read, but the thing's on screen. So this is really nice. Restore 20% of the damage you deal as health. The value is decreased by 4% per ally you are grouped with. You cannot be healed by anyone but yourself. So this is like the ultimate soloing bit of gear. And this orange means mythic level. Mythic stuff you have to get through the antiquities system. So you get lots of rare leads through doing some stuff through really obvious easy challenges, and other ones through quite advanced things, from just doing dungeon delves, solo dungeon delves, to being at the end of like trials and things like that. So I'll try and find an example with multiple slots. So here, yeah, the Bloodlord's Embrace, which is like a Magicka tank thing. You have to get like these 5 pieces, and once you get them all, it creates this cool chest piece, which I've got. I haven't been very good at chasing down and hunting down mythics very much at the moment. We'll go and do a quick run through the delve as well. Tsofeer Cavern. Gonna have to do these ones twice, and then we can get underway with the proper bits of story DLC things, which is quite nice Sunday afternoon doing the ESO. And yeah, this fungal horse, when I first looked at it and I saw it during the grand reveal, when they were doing the Necrom reveal on the official The Elder Scrolls Online's primary channel, I wet myself laughing, because it just looks like a leprosy horse combined with chocolate chip cookies. I just looked at that as like someone's been mistreating that animal with horrendous bloody growths and yeah, chocolate chip cookies. But it's supposed to be mushrooms, because if you know your Elder Scrolls lore, especially the Morrowind lore, the Telvanni are these kind of basically evil wizards, or certainly very callous and morally dubious great house faction of the Dunmer, the Dark Elves, and they live in these giant magically enchanted mushrooms. They grow these mushrooms as wizard towers. It's very cool, very original. It's why for a lot of old school Elder Scrolls fans, Morrowind is arguably still the best of the bunch. So they got these mushroom horses, and my little pet, if he pops up, is my companion. Where's my pet? Where's my horse? Yeah, I got the pony as well. So even though I found them hilarious, I was like, well, I pre-ordered my DLC. I've got the stuff that other people don't have, except loads of people do have it. So I'm going to wear it. I'm not going to pick up this quest until I'm running through this properly to enjoy it. So I'll just take care of the daily. You could make another redemption for no dirty to... Oh, I don't know if I could get it with that. That would compromise the stream and delivery too much, I think, Darkens. I think that would kind of like undermine too much of my sense of humour and how I go. That horse, like it looks like it belongs in Craven's Town. It does. It looks like one of the sort of surgical dregs, the offshoots from the hobby of casually illegal surgery with like no moral anything. So if you don't know the game with here too much, your basic questing difficulty, what I'd call your overland difficulty, is almost laughably easy, and it has to be, because no matter what gear you've got and what level you are, you need to be able to continue and go forward and sort of proceed. So if you're a somewhat high level character like I am, and you're running around in mostly trial gear and crafted sets and things set up, and you've got a lot of champion points. thank you. Thank you for the bitties. Thank you for the heart attack. Thank you for nearly but not quite making me say something bad and have to wear the stupid hat. But sincerely, thank you for the bitties, Darkens. So yeah, but it means like running around and doing this stuff is quite straightforward. But one thing I do truly love about this game, firstly, everything is voice acted. Like every bit of dialogue, every proper discussion with every NPC, even background stuff where they don't prop up with proper dialogue, is not only narrated. What? Oh, shush, Miri. Is not only voiced; it's voiced really well. There's some incredibly well-written characters with great personalities, and not just like because they're good and they're fun. Some of them are downright awful, complete and utter. Gonna say something bad then again. So-and-sos, scoundrels, vagabonds, and all-round bad eggs. Yes, that'll do. But, you know, a well-written villain is just as compelling, or a well-written jerk, or bumbling idiot, or arrogant, or self-aggrandizing muppet is could be just as engaging and interesting, sometimes more so than a sort of cool femme fatale or witty sidekick or do-gooder and anything. But yeah, a big part of it is the quests. Considering they still follow the pretty typical MMO model of a certain number of types that then get various kind of flavors and skins on them and so on, are so developed and rich. There's often quite difficult story choices that don't end up having rarely have any kind of major long-term knock-on effect, although some of them do. You can end up with some genuinely like kind of quite difficult moral dilemmas to have to make, which is engaging, even if it's not like got a wider thing. And sometimes if you take a moral action or you do a thing, you don't get the result you expect, and you encounter something later that's been affected by your choices, and it's really good. And then of course it's all narrated and well spoken and well voice acted, which means that regardless of the difficulty level, the questing and running around and following the stories and stuff is great. And you can do the wider story in any particular zone as much or as little as you want, so you can follow the main quest that each zone and DLC zone has, and then you can do a lot of the follow-on stuff as well. So I'll bring up the quest, the achievement log for Murkmire in a second and show some of the bits. And the more you do, as you sort of build towards the finale of the story in a particular zone, so if I bring up the Murkmire one here in the achievements list, where are we at? Yeah, down here. So general sort of hero of Murkmire, this sort of meta achievement, chronic chronology, get all the stone tablets, and I'll look up a guide for how to do that because I don't mind sort of just finding each one and where it is. If you do all of these little side bits, especially in exploration, especially in quests, especially in doing all the quests, the more sort of people gather around, and like at the end I very much like to have as many of the NPCs and people you could have affected and stuff in the zone you could have done as possible when there's the usual grand get together as the story concludes, because I'm very much a completionist in that regard. So yeah, it does that. It does a wonderful homage to the actual single-player Elder Scrolls games, you know, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and if you go back even further, if you're really old, Daggerfall and Arena. It allows every class to play in every role, and there is still notable and noteworthy class distinctions. Major differences in the race and the racial bonuses.
I suppose I need to ask. So
I would normally let them give all that dialogue, but these are dailies. So this is the Delve daily and the
better you than me.
World Boss daily, and I've heard this dialogue about a jillion times, so
who will step
we rattle forward. So we'll get the daily rewards from that. Ooh, Elder Argonian legs crafting motif. Now I've already got that, but that will sell for about 34,000 gold average, maybe more. Thanks very much, RNG.
You don't come by those too often.
Yep, there's Miri with the companion little bits of dialogue. Every time you get something particularly good, like legendary, gold is legendary and purple is epic level, she'll sometimes pipe up Deadwater Shoulders. Oh, okay, it's another one I've got, unfortunately, and I haven't finished the set. So unfortunately, it's not curated. It doesn't give you each one you need till you've got them all. Sometimes you get duplicates, but those are both worth a reasonable chunk of change. And because I'm in, one of the guilds I'm in is what's called a trading guild, and they have guild traders, which are the things that work the equivalent of auction houses.
I impart the
the necromancer. So we'll go back and take care of the
unusual.
The necromancer again. That's how you make your money with these various guild traders. So there's actually like multiple auction houses at various what would be the word I'm looking for? Priority? Prosperity? No. Prestige, probably. So the ones that are the most sought after spots are sort of in the major capital cities, and some of them are quite far out the way. Okay, the swearing redemption is gone. But I'm proud of myself. Did you notice that? Those of you who've been here a while probably didn't think I could manage it. That is 2 in a row. That is 20 minutes without a single bad word, crude joke, terrible thing said, or something horrific. I'm proud of me for that. So didn't think I could. So also, this is a more recent addition. I thought it was delightful, except it was annoying that if you I'll show you what it is first. Every weapon and item and piece of armor and set that you can get for each zone, you can now save them and bind them, and once you've got them once, there's certain things where you can reconstruct them. So if you don't have to keep all the sets all the time, you can use these little stones that are called these little things that you earn from doing daily dungeons, like random group daily dungeons. Probably do one during the stream. To get, and so everyone sort of collectively refers to these as their sticker books, and it's a nice thing to sort of be able to complete as you go along. And every zone's got one. Of course, you got the trials as well, and the DLC trials. So some of that, what's the trial I've done the most? Probably Sunspire with the dragons in it. It's the first one I did, and that is in Elsewhere, I believe. Yeah, Sunspire. So I've got a few achievements here. So I've done that on Veteran. So that gives me the title of Sunspire Saint, and some very cool skins. This skin I'm wearing now is the Dromathra skin. This is from, in the collection's appearance. Not hide my home. Yes. So the Dromathra, this one's so cool. If you beat Veteran Maw of Lorcage, which we did a couple of weeks ago, you get this very cool skin. Crystal Frost. Yeah, Sunspire Icefire is a Crystal Frost with a fiery eye. So if I set that active, you've got this kind of thing going on. The feet and hands look really cool because they glow fiery. So we got a bit of that. I think this is Kyne's Aegis Veteran. You got this kind of sea giant. Oh, I hadn't seen that with the tattoos. That's kind of cool. I'd never seen that with the body markers before. Yeah, but at the moment I'm totally rocking the this one. If you do the world events, oh, that actually goes really well with this sort of swamp attire I've got on. I've got this kind of budget Aquaman look going on here. Just for context, I'm a total ESO fashion person, because you can do so many dyes and costumes and equipment and gear. There's a whole outfitters. I'm a sucker for dressing my characters suitable to the DLC that they're in, and I'm enjoying Murkmire, so I've done 2 different versions of it. So I've got this kind of shirtless, muddy green running through the swamp. This Scales of Akatosh is dragon based, and I've got this Dragon Knight class. That looks really suitable for here and goes with the armor, and of course the Dromathra one does as well, for being a bit sort of darker and more evil. I might rock Scales of Akatosh. So that I had to do the world, some of the various world events, because of course, like any good DLC, there's holiday events and you get event tickets for doing the stuff, and then every year there's a different set of collections. You can get fragments for them. So Soulfire Dragon, Scales of Akatosh. So you get these parts and you can combine them together based on some other things, and you eventually get this thing going on. So I did that one last year. Yeah, that looks pretty boss. The green and gold is the skin. Yeah, I think I'm going to rock that for a while. I hadn't seen that shirtless in quite some time. All right, sweet. Anyway, we'll take care. We'll just do another daily and a delve. And then back to do the same boss again. And then continue progressing a bit more of the story, I think. Do some dungeon bits and pieces.
Sam, you never know what might jump out of the murk to kill you.
I've been waiting for her to pop up. Now, this is Troixeth. You encounter her as a vagrant in Somerset, the High Elf Island, previously, and if you go through an entire sequence where she's constantly having this altercation with a High Elf guard, you get a little achievement, and I think there's one for multiple encounters here as well. It turns out she's a Shadow Scale, which is an Argonian assassin. Any Argonian born under the sign of the Shadow immediately become agents of Sithis, which is one of the Daedra. Anyway, let's have this encounter and get this sequence underway.
You'll find no sanctuary in this swamp, brother. Murkmire is where the Dread Father takes his meals.
And the Dread Father is I've forgotten who that is, because Sithis is the Night Mother. So yeah, she's looking a lot more dangerous and well equipped previously. The Remain Silent thing is hilarious. Like, with you do the Dark Brotherhood DLC and you do Remain Silent, it really unsettles people who don't know it, and you just sit. Yeah, Sithis is the Night. Is Dreadfather Sithis? Who's the Night Mother then? Yeah, but it's got its own name. I thought she did. Yeah. Is the woman that talks to the, unless she's just called the Night Mother and Sithis the Dreadfather. You could be right. So Remain Silent, and then you can do Fine, I'll talk. But I've done this sequence once before. For some reason, I didn't get awarded the first encounter, but I know what happens here. It's really funny. Remain silent. 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 So she's silent. Remain silent. Remain silent. Remain silent. Remain silent. We're having an assassin silence off. Remain silent. Remain silent. Remain silent.
All right, you win. You're the darkest dark brother to ever have darked. Can we move on?
I love that. I wondered if there was a thing where you did it. You're the darkest dark brother to have ever darked. Darkens, that should be your catchphrase, dude. I hope you get awarded this, right? Now, there should be a thing, because it's random how you encounter her. If I go to the Murkmire achievements, there should be, I think it's exploration. There's a thing that unlocks. So yeah, surreptitiously shadowed. Get to know the Shadow Scale with peculiar interest in your activities in Murkmire. Yeah, cross paths with Troixeth for the first time, which I have. This is the first time encounter. So for some reason, doing that, you're the darkest dark brother who ever darked. Can we move on?
You'll find no sanctuary in this swamp, brother.
For some reason, it's not awarding it to
Murkmire
me.
is where the Dread Father takes his meals.
I do look like Aquaman. I look like budget ESO Aquaman, which is very suitable for Murkmire and the swampy marshland. Remain silent. Right, fine, I'll talk.
Praise Sithis. I thought we might die of old age first.
Okay, so I've done both. What is going on? Cross paths with Troixeth for the first time.
What kind of monster
It's
orders
not
our
awarding
hatchings
it.
murdered? I spit in Queen Iren's eye.
Oh! That's never happened before. Right, 2 seconds, folks. I have just had a crash on ESO. I'm just trying to report that. Was talking to Troixeth in Murkmire. First time encounter. Used all dialogue options on the wasn't awarding the first encounter for the achievement. Sorry, I know this is riveting content, but That's the second time I've had that thing, and I was hoping it would trigger this time. On third attempt to talk, the game crashed. We'll relaunch it. We'll relaunch it. Assuming that'll let me submit. Okie dokie. Sorry for that little interruption. We'll bring this back. Your silence off broke it, I think so. Damn, she's a bit. Yeah, she's funny though. I must admit, she is genuinely rather hilarious. The encounters that you have with her in Somerset, when she's kind of acting more as a vagrant, and eventually the soldier's just so fed up with dealing with her, and what it was is like, oh, never mind my investigation. And all this stuff. You can have each one of them multiple times, and you can either support her or support the High Elf Authority. So yeah, they're quite enjoyable. But yeah, she's a bit up herself. Give it that much. It really does look like Aquaman now, doesn't it? It's mainly the scales. It's mainly the scales that are doing it. It looks like budget High Elf Aquaman. Our Dark Off, our Silence Off, our Dark Off broke the game. I have to admit, not for right now, but I will definitely Google why that first encounter is not.
Watch your step.
Oh,
you never know
we've had it
what
again.
might jump out of the murk to kill you.
Okay. Well, this time I won't do the "you're the darkest dark whoever darked" thing.
You'll find no sanctuary in this.
Or maybe we'll do a few in a row. Fine, I'll talk.
Praise Sithis. I thought we might die of old age first.
Okay, did it give it to me this time? Let's find out. Oh, it normally remembers where you are in the list, but of course the game just went down, so not so much. Oh, come on! That should be highlighted in white now. That should be fulfilled. Okay. Well, that's frustrating. That it's not awarding. Like I say, I will Google what's going on with the surreptitiously shadowed achievement not triggering, because that bug existed before the latest patch the other day. Oh, for heaven's sake. Okay, well, these folks are waiting around here for a little bit to kill this dude, so we'll get the second one out of the way. Oh, actually, what we can do again is so this time we've got to recover Dead Water Warrior's bones. Obviously, this time around, the Necromancer has been desecrating the Dead Water Tribe warrior sent to kill him. So the remains of a Dead Water Tribe warrior who fell in battle against the Necromancer Bokzul. A nice easy gather one rather than hunt and burn the things or pick up the stakes and then plant them somewhere else, etc, etc. Might be a server problem. There could be, although I've found that for me crashes are incredibly rare. In fact, I can't recall the last time I had an unexpected error thing, an ESO unexpected error. I think quite genuinely that is the first one I've had this year. Excuse me, I'm just going to mute the mic so the rattling of the mixer ball in the protein shake doesn't sound like a machine gun coming out of the stream. That's a little better. That's a little better. Right. No, well, there's a few people. Thank you all for arriving early. You're welcome, Glacier Wolf, whoever that is. Considering there's a few people here, one assumes that he might spawn before too long. Is usually the more. There we go. Yeah, the more people that are already there, the longer they've been waiting. Right, we've got 500 ultimate. So, oh, I shouldn't have probably proc that right away because now it's going to go to waste. I forgot about this little preamble bit. Never mind.
Till I met you.
Let everyone deal with this. Although with a little group of random world travellers of this size, this will be over very quickly. especially as I think a few of them are also fairly high level like I am. Ah, I just realised I don't think I've got a... Have I got an experience boost running at the moment? I don't think so. Let's take a crown experience scroll. We're going to be running around killing ads and bits and pieces like that. Let's get more out of our time. Okay, he should pop up in a second and give his moustache twirling remarks of, I wish there was more meat on your bones, but you'll make a something. Let me know about the game volume, by the way. Is the actual background sound
You must wait your
too
turn.
deafening? Because in my ears it's fine, but I can control it. But it's looking like it's pretty loud, or the equivalent of my voice volume.
I will not.
Oh Christ! Yeah, he's being absolutely melted. Yeah. Okay, that's how quick it can go when you've got a bunch of people around. What is the audio on? Oof, yeah, that is quite... That's the master volume. Let's knock... Dialogue volume we want up. Interface volume is fine. Footsteps. Let's knock the... Ambience volume to 25. I think the effects volume can come right down. See what it is, because I don't want to... Oh, cinematics volume. Buttons and windows, volume of dialogue, volume of footsteps, sound effects, ambient environmental sound, combat music, all combat music. Don't know what constitutes cinema. It might be the actual just cinematics themselves, right? Because if I can keep the volume up decently for the dialogue bits, so I tend to narrate the dialogue that I'm saying. And let them speak at the equivalent volume as well. Ah, cool, we got the other delve today. Right, that'll be a little bit more variation for you fine folks. So, yeah, I don't want to sort of compromise on the game experience for the sake of my delightful, somber, sonorous tones in the stream experience. Okay, desktop audio. I think that footstep volume could probably still come down a bit more, couldn't it? Yeah, let's maybe make that 35. Oh, and something's come in on the interface. Oh, it's just a guildmate's obviously done a trial. I say guildmate. In this one, you can be in like 5 guilds, and one of the biggest one, the trading one, has got so many people in it. I don't know who most of them are, but I started getting a lot more of those notifications. There aren't too many way shrines here. Oh, I think it's still better, rather than trying to ford the river and go across past all the dangerous plants and whatnot, let's get to this one and save a bit of ground and then jump over to Deadwater Village and then ride from the other direction. That guy was talking about something that I'm sure was critically important, but I don't particularly care. Okay, oh, some hackwing woke up because I trod on its face. That's annoying, because once you end up in the combat, you can't really come out of it. It takes a while to either come out of it. There he is, right, let's just deal with this. Oh, of course, yeah, you start attacking them and like, oh, you already ran miles away. We're going to chase you and keep you in combat for ages, but as soon as you hit us, we're going to reset. Yeah. So, jump over to Deadwater Village, which story-wise I haven't got anywhere close to getting to yet. Actually, might be closer than I think. Then... we'll... Ancient Bones. Now this particular delve, this in Murkmire, this is a Zanmir. They're old stone buildings. So for some context, if you don't know Elder Scrolls World and the Argonians in particular, modern Argonians are very much about the here and now. They're not about ancient history or their race's past. That was in their pre-Sithis days, and they don't see Sithis as quite as evil, or not in an evil aspect as much of many of the other races do. In that he sort of represents sort of change and life, and so they tend to build their buildings out of stuff that will eventually rot in the swamp and sink again, and things are very cyclical in their culture, and everything returns to the hist I think the histolite are these spirits in these sacred trees that they're born from, and they sort of they're reborn out of eggs, and they have bonding rituals. It's all like quite interesting. But older Argonian civilization is more like this, and it's very informed by Aztec Central American styles and architecture, which I am a total sucker for. Two of my absolute favourites sort of ancient cultures in terms of visual style are the Central American sort of Aztec and the Mayan look to things. It's so unique and absolutely fascinating. And of course, like many people, ancient Egypt. That's why with Warhammer Fantasy, I played an Argonian healer in ESO for a while. Oh, did you? The swim speed bonus. Oh goodness, yes, because almost no one has those. I forgot they had that. That's cool, Cozy. Nice one. So, yeah. I've just got the one. I've got that Nord that I showed in my character screen, and then just this. Okay, that trap's looking dangerous. Oh, dodge that like an absolute beast. Let's interrupt this. Melt that lot. So yeah, in a similar manner to loving ancient Egypt and sort of Aztecs and Mayans. Ancient bones. Okay, we'll get some from you. Trying to get a bit better with this rotation, but this is not the group to particularly practice on because
good at this.
they are.
I probably shouldn't be proud of that.
A delve is basically the same difficulty as overland creatures. They're very, very, very straightforward, right? One ancient bone. Oh, I need 5, not 3. Oh, this quest is incredibly annoying because there's a bug with it. Where some of the ancient bones actually don't show up on the map. I remember getting stuck on this the other day, and then I had to Google up what the matter was. So that's frustrating. Ah, yes, one of these triffid cock. Weirdly, these giant triffid plants with vaginas for mouths. Ancient bones. Hee. Like an old man's penis. Yeah, so tucked to the corner of like one in here somewhere, or one of the other rooms, there's some unmarked ones, which are incredibly frustrating. Sir Detox a lot, happy Sunday. It's curious enough, I was thinking of you, mate. I'm back after 2.5 years plus a bit more, as of last Sunday. So hello and good evening, a pleasure to see you, and a lot of old faces or old faces under new guises, new names had been showing up, and I started sort of thinking about kind of, oh yeah, folks and who's who and so, and I thought, because I'd seen you still, I think your name in the Krayven Sound Discord, and I was like kind of, oh yeah, I wonder, and it's just, and there you are all of a sudden. Happy Sunday to you, my friend. How are you doing? Oh, am I stuck in combat? Oh, okay, this time it didn't bug out. This time all 5 of them showed up. Well, that is helpful. I'm doing very well. Life is good. IRL, all my ducks are in a row. Got a great new job since when? 1st of February. I had previously what I thought was a really good one. It turned out to be a bit of a nightmare, and I spent quite a chunk of time out of work. Otherwise I would have been back considerably sooner. But what seemed to be a downside at the time turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise. And what else? Well, back doing this, and on top of my fitness, socially and relationship-wise, romantically, things are taking a nice new and interesting turn. And yeah, all told, 2023, everything's coming up Krayven, touch wood, so far. I'm happy to be back doing this. How is your good self? How are things? Well, obviously it's a big question to ask. If you just want to be chilling, doing your own thing, and having me on as delightful British accented podcast radio in the background, go right ahead. But yeah, the last few years have been odd, I believe would be a diplomatic and understated way to say it. I hope they have gone well for you, and if not, or if it's been mixed, some of it's been good and some of it has been able to be overcome. And would always yell out, man, I love being in Argonia, and a la Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was swimming super fast. That's very cool. I'd have definitely been shouting out some cowabunga if I'd gone Argonian, but I decided to go with some good old-fashioned Elder Scroll racism and roll a high elf. They're not as bad as the Dark Elves, but they are really, really full of themselves. Plus, they literally look like the PC Gaming Master Race meme, which pleases me no end. Let's have a bit more. These are my champion points are going around the... Which tree is that? Craft, Warfare, Fitness. They changed these very significantly a few patches ago. I think the changes for the better overall. Not like we can say too much if it's not. Okay, I think that is both dailies done again. So let's get our second round of hand-ins, because I had some left over from the previous day. A previous day, I should say. And then we can carry on with some of the actual unique and individual story quests to the region, because I have an awful lot of DLC to catch up on. For context of why I'm doing it as well, I am, as many as you know, a bit of a completionist and a bit of a sucker for doing all story and structure and right order. And I'm trying to follow all the DLCs and content, whether it's just dungeon DLC, where a couple of new dungeons were released, or a whole sort of region zone DLC. And even nowadays, there's whole chapters that are coming out. You don't just get a new piece of DLC. It's like whole chapter bundles that you have to buy as an add-on, like High Isle or now Necrom, which I've pre-ordered. I like to go through them in order, and when I'm doing the dungeons for the first time, I do them as best I can. I solo them on normal mode because I'm tough enough to sort of get through most normal mode stuff, unless there's mechanics that make it literally impossible to solo, even if you've got the precog ult. Right, let's hand in things to Bolo.
The wind carries you back. Now speak true and say how you fared.
By the way, these guys, if you're not, you might be familiar with the Elder Scrolls, but like that's a weird-looking Argonian. They're not actually. They're an addition. These are the Elder Scrolls take on Naga. Normally, the sort of in lots of common fantasy, the snake-like serpent people things, various incarnations, various MMOs and fantasy settings. So this is the Elder Scrolls take on the Naga as a cousin species to the Argonians, and they are obviously quite similar, but they're a lot more aquatic, less lizard-like and more newt-like, more fish-like. And yeah, so this is not an Argonian, it's a Naga, if you're wondering, like, wow, he looks a bit weird. I killed a necromancer and recovered the bones of several dead water warriors.
I praise your skills, outsider. I hated the thought of Naga core warriors, enthralled by that necromancer. Now we can show their remains proper respect and craft them into good, strong weapons. Take this reward. You earned it.
So the Dead Water tribe, firstly, these folks are particularly hostile to outsiders. Dead Water is their regular name. Their name in Saxhleel is their name in Argonian, or whatever the Argonian language is the Naga Kur. And Saxhleel is actually the word for Argonian in the Argonian language. And yes, the lore does get that deep. So we'll complete that. Good, and that's him actually done for the day. Also, as you heard, his voice is very cool. That's what I mean. That's such a unique bit of voice acting. That sort of deep, slow... Oh, great, we got the chest piece, which we didn't have before. Cool, we get some flavor text with this. And it's nice. This is like the NPC Concordia Mercius. She's like the main NPC protagonist, companion, friendly character. You're working alongside her for the Cyrodiilic collections. So she's sort of doing the commentary in these motifs. So whenever you get a new motif for a piece of armor that you can wear and do, there's usually some blurb with it. So by Concordia Mercius, I'm proud to present on behalf of Cyrodiilic Collections my findings on pre-Duskfall Argonian raiment and adornment. The similarity of designs and motifs found during our expeditions across Black Marsh suggests that the Argonians once may have had a more unified civilization, or perhaps simply traded more widely. And then you've always got that at the top of every motif, and then the unique part about the armor. So Elder Argonians preferred light sashes and wraps over tunics. This might have been to keep their frills and spines uncovered for communication. Armor was almost entirely constructed from bronze splints and mostly covered the shoulders and abdomen, suggesting that their own scales were expected to protect the exposed flanks and back. Glad you're doing well and glad you're back. I was following Discord for a long bit. I'm glad everything worked out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you reading that and checking it out. And there's a hunt. There is a hunt in the chat. I will interact. Let's get involved. I'm certainly going to get involved, and let's do oh no, not the one I'm after. It's Outburst, isn't it?
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Exclamation mark hunt in the chat if you want to earn yourself some chits, and if you're wondering what chits are, oh come on, where is it? Bush. What used to be the channel points, the ones that are done through the chatbot, the Streamlabs chatbot, we actually have proper channel points now with creds and things you can redeem for those. In a nutshell, creds affect the stream, whether it's sound effects or things that I do, and over time visual commands will come in. If it's anything that affects the chat, chits is a portmanteau of chit tickets, and your points for that, whether it's interacting, whether it's spinning, you got all the details in there. Stretch indeed. So here we are. This is something that affects me and is a very welcome addition. I do some lunges and oh, hang on, let's get some good back. Thankfully, there's no swearing redemption, motherfucker. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, I now need to stretch out the my back after a bit scare stumbled whilst I was stretching. There we go. Oh no, thank you. I needed that actually. That one's been a good redemption. People seem to like doing it, and does encourage me to get up and move around. Well done, well played, and thank you very much to 75 biddies. Now this is a nice segue to show again those of you who don't know the game, because you come here and you might not have seen me do it and or not play it. This is where ESO. Oh, sorry, I catch my breath there. Actually, I was moving around suddenly, so I've got to slow down the pace at which I talk just for a second. Where sort of ESO fashion comes in or fashion ESO, and same way you got the phrase fashion souls. How do we do? Oh, Darkens walks away with all the profit. Yes, indeed you do. Well done, well done. So every outfit style for every equipment slot you get. As you learn motifs, you can get all kinds of stuff, and chests is a particularly popular one. You always get 4 rather than 3, because there's always 2 light styles, a medium style and a heavy armor style, and there's also signature ones as well. There's regular clothing, but that's very uncommon, and signature for sort of rare types. So new ones. Oh, I've not seen that before. If you've just gotten something brand new, if it's got an exclamation mark on it, means you haven't checked it out. That's a helpful filter. That's that little option to just show the new stuff is literally just been added. I think in the most recent patch. I haven't seen it before. That is a nice little quality of life addition. That's great. So let's see what this light armor looks like. The light version, that is, of the Elder Argonian jerkin. So yeah, you can sort of preview it here. That's kind of okay. And then the robe will just be that with a dress. So it's got some bones on it. The medium, the Elder Argonian jack. Yes, it's got this very, again, lots of jade, lots of I think again you've misspelt it there, mate. It's D-U-E-L, dual. Not dual like two, duality, duel is in battle. There you go. Right, 2 seconds. There you go. Right, let's see how we do. Will you get it this time? Will you get it? Oh, 2 for 2. 2 for 2. You came at the king and you missed. You'll get me at some point, mate. You'll get me at some point. And the Elder Argonian Cuirass. So yeah, this one's got lots of jade and whatnot on it. Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. So yes, and I segued away briefly from what the actually I'll hand this one in first to Varo Hosedias, who's one of the Cyrodiilics Collections people.
How's it coming with those remains? Fami is going to be disappointed if we can't verify her theories.
I brought the remains that you asked for.
Well, someone will be very pleased. If they're pleased, I'm pleased. When I'm pleased, you get gold. I think you'll find this worth digging through old bones.
Indeed, and also you'll notice that everything's lip sync. Now, it's not all manually lip sync because some of the lip motions are pretty generic, but they've got a very intelligent, quite sophisticated system that can, whatever the head is doing, matches it to the words and pretty accurately. So you end up with all this dialogue accurately lip synced and accurately voice acted, no matter how much they add, which is a hell of a thing. It just adds so much immersion to the story. I was really impressed when I sort of first started really getting into this. Right, let's take that. Perhaps we get another motif, which will be very generous RNG. Nah, that'd be asking a bit much. Okay, good. That is. Well, I say the daily's done. There is another type of daily in here, and I'm really behind on it because I've been so slow at moving the main story along. You've got to, I think, get the story to a certain point in order to be able to start accessing them. So some of the achievements for quests, like hauling heirlooms, complete 30 delve dailies. So for that one I just handed in, I've now done 17 out of 30, so that's basically over 30 days. Heart of a Naga, the daily boss quests, again for the other one here. But there's one that I've got to get started. The Root Whisper daily. So whispering roots, and there's 30 of those. Ideally, I'd have been doing all 3 of these in sync, but I've got to move the story further along before I can access these, which is a bit frustrating. A bit annoying that I didn't get around to that. All right, with that done, let's do some actual story stuff. So in Murkmire, something about Stibbons, which will be quite good fun. Stibbons and Lady Laurent are recurring. I'm aware of it, but I'll never learn from it. And good evening and happy Sunday, Minecraft. Good to have you, my friend. Welcome on in. Hello, Mr. Minecraft. Hi. Lady Laurent and Stibbons. Stibbons is her hapless manservant who suffers a lot, and she's this well-to-do adventurer. They are a real pair. I quite like them as an ongoing quest, and they pop up in DLC and zone after zone in some mishap. She is such an arrogant, haughty woman, but she's quite well regarded, well funded, and goes off and does all her things. And Stibbons really gets all the work done. She's like, oh, Stibbons, you're always... It'll be a fun quest to do. We've got the main story one. I think we're at stage 3 of 8 in the main story, Whispers in the Wood, which is what we'll follow up with next. A band of notorious criminals known as the Blackguards are searching for a powerful Argonian relic called the Remnant of Argon. I'll need allies if I'm going to find it first. Chime Maker Shuvu can ask the Hist about the Remnant of Argon, but needs a special chime to do so. I can find it in a vault north of the village. What is your favourite Elder Scrolls game? Morrowind. Probably. Skyrim is a close one, but Morrowind will hold a special place in my heart, which I will go into at length whilst we're running around. I work today, so now I'm going to play some video games. Great shout. I hope you had a good day at work. Working on a Sunday is a bit of a sod, but if it is done and you can now, what are you going to wind down and play, do you think? Okay, so we've got to head over here, down Brightthroat Village. I think we can jump north to this way shrine, at the very least. The way shrine and Brightthroat Village. And head on further north. I think once we got back there, we had a temporary NPC companion. One of the bright... Oh, Darken, thank you so much. For every one of us. Stop for every one of us. Darkens.
Darkens 1000 gave a sub.
1000. Indeed, bedankt voor het cadeau-abonnement. Indeed, thanks to Darkens for the gift sub. That is, I'll always give Dutch a pass, because at least as long as it doesn't get too complicated, I can actually read it. So, That's fine. Going to grind some objectives on FIFA. Oh, nice one. Well, Minecraft, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. Once I've got a gifted... no, it's Dutch. It's okay, especially simple Dutch like that, because I can read that like it's English. I say okay. I'll wave the bronze one. I haven't got around to doing unique 3D updates for the gifted citizenships yet. So enjoy a month of a returning month of visa. Glad to have you back in the ranks of the citizenry. Your lodgings will be upgraded, and you can now have residents carry you around at your command whenever you want. When you're doing your Saturday shopping, you'll be able to be entered into the giveaways and have my undying thanks. And moreover, a sincere and hearty thank you, Lord Darkens, for your continued support, both view-wise, bits-wise, citizenship-wise, and all the ways that you have and continue to support the show. I do very much appreciate it. Always have, always will. Thank you kindly. That was a really generous gesture. Darkens the guy. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. The legit Cravenstown goat. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, and I include myself within the potentials for that, but I would still as the mayor, hand that over to Cravenstown's first and
Though the
best lord.
Saxons generally choose to live in tribes based
Right, I am a fucking fuckwit. I was going to save a little bit of time by using the way shrine, but at this point, I probably won't. How has worked out? Darkens, I hope don't mind me asking. Remind me what you do for a living. Unless, I should probably go back to the scene, shouldn't I? Unless you don't want to out yourself in any way to that degree. It's a personal question, of course, but I'm trying to remember, especially what I'd call veterans these days of the community, old and familiar names. I'm trying to sort of jog my memory of who does what and when. Darkens is a CIA agent, yes indeed. Darkens is many things. CIA agent, hospital, lifesaver extraordinaire, international man of mystery, 4 times Derby winner, rogue assassin, specialised in using crockery to brain people. Oh, Sweet Breeze Overlook. It looks like there is a passing quest kicking around. Indeed, yes, I do remember that one. That's yes, the job of the hospital hospital janitor, and whatever you do at night. Oh, hang on.
Where are you two?
Someone's lost
Nothing wrong with a little opportunistic harvesting.
Here's Zukas. Yes, he's come back now. We're in the region. This was our NPC as we head over to the Wither Vault. Overseer Shiralas. So she's the overseer of this overlook, which I believe is just a regional set making thing. So I'll come back to that lady in just a second. But
We can't afford to linger.
yeah, so you can what are called overland crafting sets. You can make the grave stake set here at this particular point. But we'll go back and talk to this overseer Shiralas. Do hospitals have lawnmowers? Do you mean groundskeepers, Minecraft? Because I'm assuming the lawnmowers are what the groundskeepers would use to mow the grass. Assuming the hospitals have lawns and green spaces. Not all of them do. Okay.
Hey, I know you. You borrowed a blessing stone from my
it's her.
construction site in Vivek City and stopped the moonlight from falling out of the sky. Now I feel kind of embarrassed. My current problem isn't anywhere near as important as saving a living god.
This is a really nice thing that they do, as well as the particularly interesting or NPCs that had a certain part of a main story quest or something else for an involvement. They bring them back. So yeah, in the Morrowind DLC, which I think is 2 DLCs back, it was the first bit of DLC for the Somerset, the current chapter that we're in. Yeah, she had quite an important role for part of the Vivek City bit, and now she's here in the not Blackwood, in the Murkmire part of Black Marsh, as the Argonian region of Black Marsh is several bits. There's Shadowfen, which is in the base game, Murkmire, which is where we are right now, and Blackwood, which is the DLC, I think, released 2 DLCs back now. Anyway, so that's cool. I liked her as a character. She was kind of quite down-to-earth, salt-of-the-earth person. So what seems to be the problem?
Verona and her beloved pet Drooler went for a walk in the swamp hours ago, and they still haven't returned. My wife can take care of herself, but she's as unfamiliar with this terrain as I am. I fear the worst may have happened.
You know if Verona had a destination in mind when she left?
Verona saw some ancient Argonian stonework out in the swamp. She loves to study the techniques of long-dead masons. Use this whistle, and Drooler should come running. If you pet him and tell him he's a good boy, he'll lead you directly to Verona.
See, now this is a great quest. Okay, I'll try and find Verona and Drooler.
Drooler loves that whistle. He comes running whenever we blow it. I'm sure Verona just got caught up examining an interesting piece of carved stone, but I appreciate you going to check on her. I'll just wait here in case they return.
See, now this is what I love. This is sort of a bit nicely highlights the blurb, the point I was making earlier about the nature of the quests and why I think they're so particularly good in ESO as an MMO. Instead of just being a little fetch quest, here's an item, do the thing, and get the thing happening. This nice NPC you've encountered before. She knows you because you've encountered her before. That's unique dialogue. If I hadn't done the Morrowind DLC, for example, and come straight here, she wouldn't know me and she would have said something different. So that's already a nice touch. But we get to go and literally call a doggo, pet him. Sorry, dog or whatever it's going to be. I realise I can't stand the word doggo, or pupper for that matter. It's silly and childish. Anyway, we get to go and get a dog or whatever equivalent creature, pet it and call it a good boy as a nice little spin on a fetch quest. So I think that's absolutely delightful. But tell me more about your pet Drooler. I'm all about the dogs. Fluids, thank you. There was a few more drops left in that. I might have to go and get a little bit more just regular hydration rather than protein shake. Let's go! I got my tax return. Nice. Not the best job in the world. It kept me employed. I was just going to say, it definitely kept you employed during the whole pandemic. A very important job, a decent job. No, don't. Fair play. I'd say fair play to you, Darkins. Little lawnmowers with like the little red cross on it. Our hospital hires people to come and treat the grass, flowers, and trees in the grounds. That's it, yeah. 24. Oh, mate, bank. Fat stacks. Flicking them fat stacks all over with the 24 euros. Nice. Better than a poke with a sharp stick. Tell me more about your pet, Drooler.
Drooler's our Bantam. Cute little slobberer was a marriage gift, and he's been with us ever since. He's more attached to Verona than to me, truth be told, and she's trained him well. Just blow the whistle and he'll come running.
Okay, well, cool. We get some nice little dialogue, and I'm a total completionist for fluff and story and dialogue, so we're going to go through this as well. That's enough for a dollar with French fries and a soft drink. I know, right? So, well, how are things back in Vivec City?
Same as always, thanks to you. Bardao hangs peacefully above the city. Lord Vivec writes and sings in his palace, and our new archcanon has adapted well to his responsibilities. In fact, things are so quiet that we decided to take this trip.
That's nice. I left everything in a good state. So what are you and Verona doing in Murkmire, as I suppose, as a choice of destination?
Verona constantly complains that we never take a vacation. So when the opportunity presented itself, I set up this trip to visit Murkmire. She was suddenly surprised, but I get the feeling she was hoping for somewhere with a bit less mud.
What is curious is that of all the people that could be taking a trip, they're Dark Elves. Now, if you don't know the lore, the Dark Elves are, I think, the only race in the Elder Scrolls world that actively engage in fully organized in their society slavery. And the two races that they usually, well, they'll go after any of them, but the two that they particularly see as beast races, like genuinely beast races, are the Khajiit, the cat people, and the Argonians, the lizard people. Now, in the lore setting of the Elder Scrolls that's got these 3 groups with 3 of the races in each, because there's a total of 9. So you've got the Aldmeri Dominion, the Ebonheart Pact, and the Daggerfall Covenant. The Ebonheart Pact is the Nords, the Dark Elves, and the Argonians, and because they're now allies, there was an official right, it's very awkward if some of our allies are enslaving others, so, no more slavery. But only 3 of the 5 great houses of the Dark Elves signed up, so the Hlalu and the Redoran, and I've forgotten the other ones that are currently still exist. They don't exist in the future, are there. But House Drez and House Telvanni, who are 2 of the nastier houses, still engage in slavery. They refuse to sign on to the Slavery Abolishment Concord. What this all leads to is that Murkmire is really deep in Blackmarsh, and 2 Dark Elves are quite likely to get brutally murdered by Argonians who are like, we don't like you enslaving our people. So of all the places to go on a holiday for Dark Elves, I wouldn't suggest the Black Marsh as a first point of call. So why does Verona have an interest in ancient stonework?
We met on one of my construction sites. I was just an assistant overseer on that project, and Verona was one of our stonemasons. She's really good at her craft. Whenever she gets the chance, she loves to learn new techniques for working stone.
On the flip side, it could be that the slavers don't penetrate this far. Just for context, I'll bring up the map. So Murkmire, Black Marsh, the Argonian region, begins from about here. So Deshan is all kind of deserty and red, and this is Dark Elf area. And the Black Marsh and Marshland begins from here with Shadowfen. Murkmire is right down here. It's right on the bottom. And Blackwood, one of the newer DLCs, is here. So these regions that are as yet unreleased are also more parts of Black Marsh, so potentially it's less of a thing because they have to go through so much poisonous marsh and all kinds of stuff to get here that people don't get captured. But round here, in Stormhold and everything, lots of slaver incursions, nicking Argonians and bringing them back to work in Vardenfell and so on. Did you guys watch The Mandalorian? Not season 3. Niall, Drazar, thank you so much for lurking and hanging out. Really, really do appreciate it. Have a good night and thank you for being here. Hopefully catch you at the next one or whenever I next see you. Hang on, I'm a bit behind on some of the chat. So do I. If my local store wasn't committing crimes against humanity with every single one they sell, watered down ranch dressings and a proper yogurt, cucumber, garlic sauce. Oh dear, that does sound like a bad Donna, I must admit. With the Mandalorian season 3 being so new, indeed, I definitely I didn't think to mention it earlier, but no spoilers on that one. I've seen seasons 1 and 2. I was freeing slaves in Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Yes, myself as well. Apparently under other races, and the Dark Elves will take just about anybody. When you're running around here, this region of Vardenfell, you'll recognise this map if you played the original Morrowind. Not Sadrith Mora. But actually, Sadrith Mora. So this is a Telvanni region. There's Nord slaves, but definitely the most common 2 races that are enslaved are the Argonians and the Khajiit around here. Anywho, off of that rather heavy topic, use Drooler's Whistle. It's just over there. All right, cool. We'll take care of this little side quest because it involves Bantam-Guars, and that's nice. Gives me an opportunity. I've had this other pet running around for a while, and Bantam-Guars. Bantam-Guar. So the default name for this little dude is Squee, and I've kept it because it's brilliant. According to the calculations of the sages of the cult of the ancestor moth, the Bantam-Guar is the cutest creature in all of Tamriel. I've also got this Cold Harbour Bantam-Guar, who's a special collectible. I've forgotten how I got him. I think I've maybe got another kind as well. I've unlocked quite a few pets at this point. Some of them, the various ones that are grayed out down here, you can do from either certain achievements or certain unlockables or getting certain fragments and combining them. But there's a whole bunch that you get from just being present for special events or stuff gets unlocked through Twitch Prime or through the store. Let's set my Cold Harbour Bantam-Guar active because just to distinguish it from the regular Bantam-Guar. Yeah.
I had a pony guar when I was little. Pon Pon. Oh, she was adorable.
That's a nice bit of flavour text from your that's from your companion, Miri, Dark Elf. Miri's a fun one. I think she's on average most people's favourite companion to use. Can you go to Red Mountain? Yes. Oh, in terms of where Dagoth is, no, not within it. The whole barrier, that hasn't happened yet. So this, the Elder Scrolls, the settings of the Three Banners War is set 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim. So I think it's 500 to 600 years before the events of Morrowind. So all three of the triad. Wait, hang on. The three Dark Elf living gods. Anyway, Vivek, Amalexia, and Tsofeer are all alive and active. In fact, Clockwork City is quite a big thing, and Tsofeer was, in my opinion, the most interesting. It's a piece of DLCs. This is the Clockwork City is in here. It's very cool. No less than 2 trials dedicated to the style of it. It's all like mechanical beings and creatures. So Dagoth
I cannot imagine the Bright
sort
Roads
of
ever holding
fourth
territory here. Very little wind, hollow seeds, and poor fishing.
Why can I not remember?
Take away our wind, seeds, and fish, and we grow very sour.
He's sort of been kept under wraps, and obviously the Nerevarine. The Nerevarine is touched on. The early things that appear and are well established in Morrowind are just starting to be built at the moment in the Morrowind DLC. So the little town of Aldrun, which is a big Redoran town, like this giant crab shell here, is only just been established. It's still an Ashlander. It's still like an Ashlander thing, and House Redoran haven't moved in yet. So yeah, like you're further back in time, and I think House Nerevar are still around. Also, the 6th house, the House Dagoth, they're referenced in some of the sets you can get, and as a cult in certain places. But yeah, you can't go into the sort of Red Mountain region proper, and Corpus and those wandering Corpus monsters and things like that from Morrowind aren't present either. Let's see, we've got to find that little spot and blow the whistle. Yes, use Drula's whistle. Pet we get to pet the Bantam-Gah. Drula appears agitated and eager to tell you something. Good boy, Drula. I want to pet the Gwa. Good boy, Drula. Good boy. Okay, follow. Go, you weird... Oh shit, I've just lost him. What? Ah, there he is. This weird little lizard chicken. The great thing about Morrowind especially is all the unique little creatures like Gwars and Alits and all that kind of stuff. Back when zero punctuation was a really big thing, it was super popular. He talked...
There it is, just up ahead. This place dries my scales.
Oh, he's talking about the main quest. The withered temple we're supposed to get to, so we'll deal with that in just a second once we've... Oh, right, that's a troll eating a hackwing. Let's avoid that if we possibly can. Well, not that I'll have any trouble difficulty killing it, just don't want to get distracted. Aha! Talk to Verona Bellaren. What's the story here? You are lost in the deep dark marsh.
Hey, you're the champion of Vivek.
I am indeed.
I remember you.
You should.
Did Drula find you and bring you out here? Oh, he's such a good boy.
Your wife sent me to find you. She was worried when you were gone so long.
Shiralas sent you. She worries too much. But that's why I love her. We did get a little turned around, and then that creature started sniffing around. Now that you're here, I think we can make a break for it. Drula can lead me back to Shiralas.
Oh, nice, straightforward, quick quest. She's obviously talking about that troll that's busy munching on the hackwing. Okay.
Come on, Drula. Let's go find Shiralas.
Oh, and they're off. Okay, well that was nice and easy and straightforward. And so, you know what? I'll leave the troll to his dinner. I'll leave the troll to his dinner. Hard to keep track of the timeline, especially after the dragon breaks. Yes, indeed. It's gone a bit more complex. Oh, look. Oh, there's our way up the hill. Okay, with that done... Yep, so we are going to the Wither Vault. That was the name of it. There's a vault north of the village.
No good thing comes from stone. Let's make this quick.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of attitude of the Argonians these days. They'd rather go with impermanent stuff like these rotten structures over here. Get wrecked. Got a nice synergy for my companion there. Of course, the crit lands when he's almost dead. Nice little archway. Let's go under here. Oh, and if you were wondering, in true Elder Scrolls style, you can go first person. I absolutely would not recommend it for combat, but if you want to, be a purist,
I fear we will find more than the chime inside this vault. Be careful.
It's yeah. I don't tend to run around with that. I'm so chill.
I see the salt
I'm so chill.
level rising. I see trouble on the way.
The Nahish elders never speak of this place, not even to me. Stay watchful, Biko.
Stay watchful.
I hear something. The chimes. They sing without wind. Just ahead. Kayak, I hate this.
Oh, Witherjaw. Okay, that's one of these Argonian bears, marsh bears. It's a bear, but it's not. Do Argonians and Khajiit have backward knees, or did they retcon them? Did they have that in older games? Anyway, no, they don't. They are humanoid jointed, like all the men and mer races. Okay, well, Witherjaw is not going to take long to chop through. Oh, did they? I have never done those two. I have only done 3 onwards, so I didn't actually know that. I think that potentially got retconned a long time ago then, because once Morrowind moved to 3D and you had animated 3D characters, animating backward jointed knees for bipedal equivalent races is an awful lot of additional work. Wait, 3 in Morrowind backward jointed, did they? They had that in... You know, I haven't looked at a character model from Morrowind in a very, very long time. So I could be wrong. They all had normal legs. Huh. I have to Google now. I see a screenshot. So I always, when there's a book shows up, I just check to see if there's lore books. There's another cool little thing. As well as all the crafting motifs you can learn. There's the dungeon lore, which is called Shalador's Library, which I've now completed everything of all the different books you can get from, you can read in all the different dungeons. But eidetic memory, once you've done the Shalador's quest, which involves Sheer Gorath, definitely the funniest of the sort of bad Daedra, every single bit of lore, paper, parchment, book, regions that you're in, once you read them, you read them, you remember them forever, and you can access them here. So really everything you can do in this game does get tracked and followed and looked up, which is a bit of a double-edged sword for completionists like me. You want to do it all, but you become a bit enslaved to it. Okay, the remnant chime. We've got these big wood chimes. Why do I have a feeling that this is far... Ah ha ha! See? Thinking smarter. There's one of the tablets I need for that thing, right? The Nushmiko tablet, a large stone tablet that represents the 9th month of the Argonian year, otherwise known as Lizard. Bring it to Hinkei or Zinche Konu Monument Calendar in Murkmire. Brilliant. That's one less I'll have to hunt down later with a guide. Remnant chime. Let's have that. Remnant chime. Wait, that's what it looks like to pick up. That's how big it is in real life. Just want to say, this ancient, masterfully crafted chime, according to the Bright Throats, and an ancient, I should say, according to the Bright Throats, its hollow tones can tell us more about the remnant of Argon. I'm just going to put that down for a second. Look at the size of this thing in relation to my character. I'm just going to casually pick that up. Yoink. That's gone in the backpack I'm not carrying on my half-naked body. I love MMO
Good work,
logic.
Biko. Let us get back to Brightthroat Village.
Oh, is that all it took? Okay, it's again remarkably straightforward. Test away, Minecraft. Right, that's the many whispers, something about Stibbons. We'll finish off this quest. So yeah, this is stage Whispers in the Wood. This is stage 3 of 7. So just for the sake of map completion, you got points of interest, way shrines, delves, striking locales, set stations, world bosses, and sky shards. So Murkmire is quite a small one. Some of the bigger regions, so something like Blackwood, you got 7, you got 12. 6 points. You got 2 public dungeons. I noticed Murkmire doesn't have any public dungeons. 6 world bosses, 18 shards, 10 books. This is a much more typically sized DLC region. It's quite a bit more substantial. So Murkmire is going to be a fairly, somewhat more straightforward and quick to complete. And I would like to get it done because it's the last part in the current chapter, and then I can move on to a whole new chapter story-wise. Not even launching the ultimate stuff yet. May as well just wham. There we go.
Is that the last of them? Oh, thank feck.
The first and the last, Miri. Don't worry. I think the change is more from players being angry that Argonian and Khajiit characters couldn't wear greaves and boots. Ah, okay. Oh, what, as in... yeah, they weren't designing all these unique ones for them, so they... That was very... Oh, damn it, I thought that was a... Oops. I thought that was a Psijic portal. For context, once you do Somerset, you get access to a guild called the Order of the... I'm going to get that wrong. Order of the Psijic. No, it's a quest line I'm after. Yeah. So you got the Dark Brother. So you start off, you can get the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild very easily and quickly and undaunted. They're the base game. Then the Thieves Guild is the Thieves Guild DSC. The Dark Brotherhood is the Dark Brotherhood DLC, and the Psijic Order comes with Somerset. And they, I think, I want to say they're new. They might have been referenced in lore books in previous games, but I think the Psijic Order were new for the ESO. But yeah, the once you have this and you get to see the unseen skill, that's it. You can interact with rifts, and they act as this unique kind of treasure chest that you can only see and get access to if you have that DLC and you get the quest, the Psijic Order quest line to a certain point. You know, now that you say that, you are jogging my memory, Darkens. I think you're right. One thing I did like about Morrowind was the level, because it was one of these sort of older older RPG, it's unique of its type, as well as being an incredibly original...
Nesting in the Wither Vault, soiling the chime, my rage quill is engorged.
Your rage quill is engorged.
No one wants to see that.
That is so full of euphemism. Your rage quill. Is engorged. Yeah, no one wants to see that. Indeed, I don't want to see your engorged rage quill, mate. Anywho, back to this formal wedding ceremony. Let's have a quick word with Zukas to see if he's got any unique dialogue before we hand this in.
Have a care with that chime, Biko. Remember, it is older than Shuvu, and Shuvu is Topi Rajda. You would say older than dirt, I think.
How polite to your elders. You can see why they're called the Bright Throats, though. It's good, isn't it? Chime Maker Shuvu.
The wind welcomes you, Zuka's friend. You have the remnant chime? Please, settle an old lizard's spines. The beast Zukas mentioned, it did not gnaw or shed water on it, right?
No, it seems fine. What happens now?
Hist be praised. Take the chime to the listening tree and hang it there. When you are ready, clutch this prayer stone and focus. If your cause is just, the Hist will answer. If not, I guess we have to find a better place to bury this chime.
I'll hang the chime. Okay, hang the remnant chime. Wow, do we do it from here? Okay, we've got to go around the corner. Let's have a look-see. Bond Guru Topeth. Oh, this NPC, Bond Guru Topeth, I think He's the guy we dealt with for a little wedding bonding ritual side quest that was happening here earlier. Not during the stream, but earlier in my own happenings.
The phlegm wine is still bubbling. Have some before the bog gases run dry.
That sounds delightfully appetizing. I do love bog gas in my phlegm wine, but I shall graciously pass. I wouldn't want you to go without. Tuck in. Listening tree branch use.
Perfect.
There we
now
go.
center yourself in the glade and focus the remnant's mystery on the prayer stone.
Where is this glade exactly? Pray to the... Oh, okay. Oh, is that a distance away? Ah, go to the prayer mat. Okay, here's the prayer mat. Miri, can you just get out of the way? You're breaking my immersion. Thank you. Use the Argonian prayer stone. Oh, really? Ugh, that's annoying. The two random people turning it. Alright, get out of the way of my scene. Okay.
We seek your guidance and ask the blessing of your song. Sap Mother, Bow Father, please hear our petition and speak the remnant's truth. I hear nothing. A tangle of whispers, nothing more.
That can't be. Wait, I hear it, Shuvu. I hear it.
Sparkly things.
The hist sings the remnant's truth.
Truly? Ha! Ah, little Zukas, I knew you had a chime maker's heart. Come, tell us what you hear.
Oh, phew. Every time it's like literally just doing this, got this whole region to myself, and then this random person is just dressed like a skeleton with all their walks through in the middle of it and just stands there. I know they got to get on and play, it's an MMO, but I hate it when that happens. I always try and walk around, and if someone's doing their special bit, especially if it's the bit at the end of the quest, I try and make some room, or not like jump around and walk through them and stuff. Anyway, let's see what he's got to say.
Zukas, my little listener. As mud as my mother, how many secrets have passed me by that he might have heard? He has the soul of a chime maker. I knew it. One day he will find his way to the wind and music. If not in this life, then in the next.
Oh, he sounds very proud. Okay, Zukas, what have you heard, mate?
I am confused. Shuvu is the wisest listener in the tribe. How could he hear nothing when I heard it so clearly? He is very old. Maybe he just needs his ear cavity flushed.
One thing I like about the Argonians and how their dialogue is written as well as how it's voice acted is they're very, very unsubtle, but not in a kind of blunt, rude way. They say things. They're almost as a race, somewhat on the spectrum, but in a way that's like not derogatory or something. It's kind of funny. It's like kind of, oh yes, you would be like that. They make me think a bit of Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's cool. Oh, nice thing as well is when you go into these NPC dialogue things, other people running around fade out, which is a really nice quality of life touch, but the NPCs stay in. I doubt it. What did the chime say about the remnant of Argon?
Smoke of stars to see what once was seen, sunless sap to hear what once was heard. A bramble of words. I appreciate the hist's poetry, but this is not an ideal time for it, I think.
Smoke of stars to see what once was seen. Sunless sap to hear what once was heard. Huh. Smoke of stars. There's obviously going to be like a follow-up quest, but I'm just trying to see if I can get an inkling of what it is before we get told. Well, how will this help us find a remnant of Argon?
I do not know. Hopefully Shuvu can teach me how to decipher the words. It will take time, but I will find you if I learn more. Perhaps friend Famia could help also? Or Cassandra. They both know the Marsh's stone secrets. They could prove useful.
Well, Cassandra asked me to meet her in Alton Merliel. I'd forgotten that part, actually. I'll see if she can help. Okay, meet Cassandra at Alton Merliel. Can do. Naviganda. Oh, that's down here. Right, so this sort of bottom quarter of the map is slowly getting complete. I kind of ran ahead and did a bunch of things while I was doing dailies, so I've ended up seeing most of the stuff. But if you follow all of the quests and do all the things bit by bit, various things lead you around the map and get you to the striking locales, which is cool. Oh, someone's running around in Sunspire Veteran trying to get that Yolnakrin gear. I've got definitely a few more pieces I'd like to get. The sword, shield and frost staff in particular, and the perfected golden rings. I got quite lucky and got the gold version, legendary version of the perfected necklace from the final boss, which I was very, very happy about. For context, Yolna is still one of the best in slot tanking sets, and the perfected version, you want to wear it on armor because of the perfected version gives you an additional health bonus. Oh, treasure chest. Oh, it's a simple one, it won't be very good, but hey, better than a poke with a sharp stick. And I think we'll leave Miri away for the time being. She's already max level anyway. Huh. Person. Now then, sometimes she gets in the way and breaks immersion a little bit. Who's this? Oh no, don't hit him. That is a Murkmire guard. He will beat the living shit out of me.
Hello.
Aha.
Cassandra said you'd be here. There's news.
Okay. Who's that? Renala. Famia.
Well, you certainly have a spring in your step. Your work with the Bright Throats went well, I take it. Splendid.
We've made some. Hello, Citizen Waymond. Welcome on in. Doing good, doing good. Happy Sunday to you, my friend. I am well. What did I spend this afternoon? Yes, I was visiting Krayven. Got in my car and blasted south of the county border, and I caught up with her because it's Mothering Sunday in the UK today. So yeah, we have ours in a different day to the States and certain other places. So that was nice. I hadn't caught up with her in 2 months. In fact, I hadn't seen her since I got my new job, which started my new job, I should say, on the 1st of February, and a bunch of other things had happened, which, considering how close she lives to me, 20 miles is not very far at all, even by UK standards. That is the longest I've ever gone, but so much has been going on in the last month, 2 months, personally, professionally, stream-wise, everything. So that was long overdue. So took her a card, got her a gift, had lunch. It was all very pleasant. The week's been okay. Had a good week at work. Physically, unfortunately, I had food poisoning, and that sort of put paid to much gym progress this week. But other than that, most things have been all right. And welcome to the show. We're doing some Murkmire DLC story quests in Elder Scrolls Online this evening. It's been a lazy one. Good stuff. Good stuff. Except for the food poisoning, yes. Well, thank you very much. And how's yourself? Weekend? Are you... Because I just remember it was Lone Wolf 67 previously. I can't recall if you're in the UK or elsewhere, because if you were, then obviously you'll know it's Mother's Day. So yes, blah, blah, blah. I work with the Bright Throats. Yes, we've made some progress, yes. Where's Cassandra?
Following another lead on the Remnant. Or, potential lead. Someone she worked with before she started funding Cyrodiilic collections. I don't know much more. She asked me to tell you to join them when I saw you, so I suppose you should do that.
Join them where exactly?
West of here, near that spooky prison. Honestly, I missed
prison.
Most of it. Too preoccupied by her bodyguard. Something about how he looks at me. Gives me the shivers, you know? But we have better things to discuss. What did you learn with Zukis?
That bodyguard's probably an assassin. A riddle. Smoke of stars to see what once was seen. Sunless sap to hear what once was heard.
Ritual Argonian poetry. The words are common, but the meter is all wrong. There's more to it.
Could it be iambic pentami?
Perhaps? Truthfully, Cassandra is the authority on that sort of thing. You should set out. I'll try to dig up a few relevant texts.
Okay, I'll go meet up with Cassandra.
Smoke and sunless sap. Strange that the Bright Throats hissed would speak in such dour terms. Maybe it describes some dark age. The Alessian incursion of the First Era? Or perhaps a dark age yet to come? Egads, let's hope it's not that.
Indeed. No, it's funny because I was born on the US Mother's Day. So when it would be typically a day for your mum, it's your birthday as well. You kind of got to split the celebration. Oh, okay, gotcha. That is kind of funny. Weirdly, that is actually an odd coincidence. Just because a good friend of mine, her birthday's today. So yeah, her birthday's on UK Mother's Day. I didn't know. I'd forgotten that until this year because she's a close friend of one of my best friends, oldest friends, and he's taken her away for a weekend to be spoilt. And I messaged her earlier today to say happy birthday, Emma, and hope you're having a nice time. And I was like, oh yeah, her birthday's on UK Mother's Day, and now you come in and say yours is on US Mother's Day, and your mum's birthday's on New Year's. Jesus, talk about doubling up celebrations. How very efficient. Why did Cassandra Whiptail, I think he's a Naga as well, a cousin species to the Argonians. Why did Cassandra hire that bodyguard? Whiptail, right?
Ugh, I wish I knew. He's just the worst, right? She hired him maybe 6 months ago. I don't think Cassandra's ever received a credible threat to her life, but he's always there, leering at us. Maybe she'll sack him now that you're here. Fingers crossed.
That's just jogged my memory. So Cassandra is an Argonian woman, formerly a slave, escaped, and seems to have made very good with herself. I think in merchant things, she's funding the Mercia sisters, of which Famia is one. These Cyrodiilic collections things. She cares a lot about Argonian history and antiquity in a way that many Argonians don't, and she's very well dressed and very sort of fine and proper and so on. She's an interesting character, but we don't know much about her in the story yet. What brought you out here to Alton Merleal?
Cassandra summoned me. Honestly, it's nice to get out of the office from time to time. Thought I might take in a Tiba Enu match while I'm here. I guess it'll have to wait. I need to get back to Lomoth to research this poem of yours.
How are the explorers we rescued? So one of the earlier quests was to some blackguards, this kind of organised bandit faction that are in the region, had kidnapped some explorers as well as some Nagakur Deadwater warriors as well. On the previous quest was to get a bunch of them out of a slave pen. So how are the explorers we rescued?
Oh, they're mostly fine, if a little shaken up. A few of them have sworn off exploring for good. Hard to blame them, I guess. Luckily, Zadaza chose to stay on. Yeah. She would never let her career end with an abduction. Far too proud for that.
Zadaza is a Khajiit associate, clearly a sort of professional thief character with Cyrodiilic collections. Okay, cool. Yep, and make good wishes before you get too call and make good wishes before you get too drunk to do so. Yes, indeed, on New Year's, absolutely. Okay, over to the ruined guardhouse. Yes, these are the sort of these are the striking locales in Murkmire. This rotten, well, this is a town of sorts, and then some ruined guardhouse. Although there's a merchant up here, we could empty my bags a little bit. It's just a general merchant, so they're going to have very generic stuff.
Alton Mere Halil is but a small port, but tomorrow, well, I am very excited about the possibilities.
Oh, that's a female Naga. I haven't seen a female Naga NPC with a lighter skin and sort of smaller, more delicate facial structure. She definitely looks more fish-like. Whereas the male Argonian, the one giving the daily delve boss, male Naga, looks more similar to an Argonian. Okay, anyway, this is purely to offload some tat and bits and pieces. So, don't give that away, bind it. Another part of the sticker book. That was obviously from the boss drop earlier, and I hadn't got around to binding it. I don't need any of these. I'm getting to the point I even just sell the blues rather than deconstructing them anymore, as I've got so many blue level improvement items. So a thing you can do at crafting tables, because like in any good MMO, there's a big crafting system. Of course, the Elder Scrolls single player games has got very involved crafting. Anyway, you can upgrade the things you make quite easily. So you make a sort of white level item, and then you can make it green, blue, purple, up to gold, with increasingly pricey mats. Oh, that's I noticed that dropping in a delve earlier. That's a furnishing item. And of course you can have your own house at various levels, up to and including some seriously large manors in this game. And perhaps today, or perhaps another day, I will show you fine folks, you fine townspeople, the property that I've currently got as my main base of operations, that I sort of trick out. I forgot that I had this. Ooh, champion of the Hist Mace. To get that from a crate is quite welcome. It's another one for the sticker book. Good, got that bound. Let's sell it on. There we go. It's just what's called an overland set. And apart from a couple, those are generally very forgettable. Well, some of them are pretty decent and fun to run around with if you don't have like higher level or higher standard dungeon gear or trial gear yet. And some of them are great for flavour if you're trying to theme a character around something like sort of lightning or poison, or get certain, like take certain synergies to the max level just for the fun of it. You can do some quite cool stuff with certain sets, like firing off loads of poison and trying to get sort of quite creative little synergies that impact synergies. There's so many sets in this game, from just overland, crafting, delves, public dungeons, proper dungeons, arenas and trials, and PvP. And the PvE stuff can be used in PvP with some reasonable success, and vice versa to a degree. One of the best tanking sets, called Powerful Assault, is a PvP set from the Imperial City DLC, which is the last thing the PvP has really got, except for a few battleground bits. They are truly overlooked and neglected to an unreasonable degree. I think they very much represent a minority of players compared to PvE players in this particular game. It's a shame though. Okay.
It's no use.
Oh.
Pockets have been picked clean.
That's Whiptail.
Nothing is ever that simple.
Ah, just in time. There's the bodyguard Whiptail. There's Cassandra.
Good, you're here.
Cool, what have you got there on the body there, dude?
If you've got something to say it to Cassandra. If you've got something to say it to Cassandra.
That is a weird camera artifact, that. Why is that appearing?
If you've got something to say.
What exactly do you do for Cassandra?
Mud in your ears? I do for Cassandra what you do for Famia. Except I'm better at it.
No, you're not. How'd you figure that? I've had this conversation before. That is really weird. That's a bug.
You found us. Good. As you can see, we've met with some difficulty. I apologize for the unsightliness. Were your inquiries in Brightthroat Village fruitful?
So you see what I mean. She's she doesn't dress like a regular Argonian. She is well-to-do, well off indeed, and shows it, and is definitely not dressed for the swamp, even though as an Argonian she is biologically and specially extremely well adapted for this kind of climate. These fineries and golds and silks are most definitely not. We learned a riddle about the remnant of Argon. What happened here?
Murder, apparently. The victim was Hitsasi, a former associate. Not so pleasant or learned as Famia, but still useful in his own way. He traveled in less reputable circles. I had hoped he could shed some light on the blackguard's plans.
How'd he die? We've got this creepy crawly coming through this thing. How'd he die?
That is what we are trying to determine. Whatever happened, it was neither clean nor brief. What a waste.
Oof.
If the blackguards came after him, Hitsasi must have known something about the remnant after all. Look around and see what you can find.
Alright, I'll look for anything related to the remnant. Bunch of questy items. And yes, my memory got jogged in some regard. I think it was thinking about her clothing and how well suited or not it is to the environment that we're in. I was saying earlier about the other Naga, like Whiptail. This guy's one of them.
I've got the corpse
you
covered,
can't
Swamp
really...
Slug. Why don't you do what the nice lady says and look for clues about the remnant?
You can't really see that he's not like... You can see the difference with her as an Argonian and him as a face, but with this weird bug of her arm floating in front of the camera for some reason, you can't. But yeah, the Deadwater tribe, the Naga, on this side of the map, a thing that they use to honour their dead is to actually use their body parts, particularly their bones and hides, in their weapons and shields and stuff, which the NPC made reference to when the previous boss quest was handed in. Oh, Kuta is max level aspect runestone, legendary level. We can make legendary runestones with that on the enchanting table. So page 1, page 2. Okay, let's start with page number 1. Heat Zazi's journal, page 1. More money getting thrown around, looking for the R. Better chance of finding Sanguine's arse in the Temple of Mara. He's getting pushy again. I stand my ground, but I've heard things about him. Dark things. Wish I could sort things out with Cassandra. I'm assuming this guy's Argonian, so I'm doing an Argonian voice. Yes, he is Argonian. Okay, so it fits. Page 3, let's try page 2. More poking around, scars to prove it. Locals don't know about R. Not information they parse down. It's all his knowledge, instinct. Nothing concrete. Makes my job harder. I hate working hard. Don't we all, mate? Blackguards have the right idea. Take things from tribes, things they use to talk to their hist. Try to find the R that way. The R. But they're crazy to try it on the Deadwater. Those Nagas won't stand for them stealing relics and such. Their funeral, I guess. He's coming by again today. Says he needs to make introductions. And the final page. Beely Chalice, 5 gold. Carga Flavonius, 7 gold. Hehup, 3 gold. 2 fishing nets. Why? That orc with the hair lip? Name. 18 gold. Hair lip. You.
What have you found? Show them to me, if you would.
3 very easily placed scraps of paper that you could have spotted in 10 seconds if you'd chosen to.
Pages torn from Hitzatsi's journal. I do not mean to speak ill of the dead, but I must admit some surprise. He never struck me as someone committed enough to keep a journal. If he knew about the remnant, this could prove invaluable.
Well, one of them talks about blackguards searching for relics Argonians use to communicate with the Hist. Oh, whoops. Pressed the wrong thing.
Pages torn from So, the blackguards have learned what we already know. The truth of the remnant cannot be torn from my eggkin because they do not know it. Only their tribal relics can provide the answers. How did you learn the Brightthroat's riddle?
I'm a muppet. I was just like, R means remnant, of course. We rang a special chime to commune with the Hist.
You see? The voice of the Hist needs a conduit, some physical means of communication. The blackguards failed to acquire the Brightthroat's chime, but they clearly mean to steal some relic from the Deadwater tribe. Bold. Or spectacularly stupid.
So you want me to talk to the Deadwater tribe, find out what this relic could be, and there's our way into Deadwater Village properly for the story. I like that outfit though. It is cool. I was going to say it's not too suited to the setting, but it's very suited to her as a character from how she's been introduced. And it is well made, Waymond, you're right. So yeah.
Precisely. You know one of the tribe's calls, don't you? Jaxic Orn, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, she's a psycho.
Fight her and plead our case. If the Deadwater tribe has some way of learning more about the remnant, we need to find it before the blackguards do.
All right, I'll travel to Deadwater Village and find Jaxix Orn. I think the last time we saw Jaxix Orn, she was actually... I made a choice with a quest that she was pleased about, and her response is like, good. Next time I see you, I won't kill you. Okay, thanks.
Safe travels. When you've concluded your business with the Deadwater tribe, meet me back at Cyrodiilic Collection's headquarters in Lilmuth. We're getting close. I can almost feel it.
You seem pretty excited about this relic business.
Please, don't mistake my stoic demeanor for a lack of enthusiasm. All of this is tremendously exciting. But, in answer to your inquiry, yes, the primacy of these relics is a thrilling discovery. It supports a theory of mine about the Hist.
What's your theory?
Well, I wrote a treatise on the subject some years ago, a brisk 400 pages.
Brisk.
But I suppose I can give you a summary. Argonians share a special relationship with their Hist. They hear its will, taste its decrees.
They? Don't you mean we? You're an Argonian too. And just to come out of character and say, I believe she's probably about to correct me because she's told me, my character before, that she was, I think she was born into slavery for the Dunmer, the Dark Elves. So she wasn't born in the normal or the traditional Argonian way of bonding ceremony, and then the eggs are nurtured in the Hist and their souls are all tied into it. So one thing that's slightly frustrating is that you often have your dialogue options having to be a bit dumber than you are. You haven't necessarily acknowledged what's going on. Oh, hunt time! We got a hunt time. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh. Firstly, I'm there with you, Wolf. I am there with you, absolutely. Absolutely. And... wakey, folks. Before we get into your Sunday afternoon or evening lethargies, hunts if you want. But I wouldn't be surprised if you reference this once I say, don't you mean we? You're an Argonian too.
Yes, well, that's just it. I can't hear the Hist.
What do you mean?
When I place my hands on the Hist's bark or rest in the shadow of its boughs, I hear nothing. No whispers, no faint smells or soothing tones. Just silence. Deafening silence.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the one that anyone used to trigger. I've got more of the sounds on a soundboard these days, but there's a few unique ones, including some new ones that are in some of the channel point rewards. But yeah, always fire that one off. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I admit the silence troubles me, but do you see? My eggkin sometimes need intermediaries too. With these antiquities, the chimes, the Deadwater relic, and eventually the remnant itself, perhaps I'll finally hear something.
That's nice. Okay, that's see, right away there, with that rationale, her motivation suddenly becomes strong. It becomes personal. There's this Argonian born into slavery, who's obviously subsequently made done very well for herself through fortitude and character and grit, whatever you want to call it, is now funding this thing, and beyond her own her own personal interests, or rather her interest could be informed by that need, or the need informs part of her interest, but her character's just suddenly been expanded. She's got some genuine motivations that tie into the lore and her own background and how the Argonians work. So just right there, it's just a great little hey Wolf, you and I split that perfectly. Nice. Right there, she's become a richer character, and the story's become richer for it. That is a really nice detail. Oh, the cloth one. Indeed, victory. Okay, Jaxix Orn. This particular character is prickly, shall we say? And also
on dishonor. Kishi's life matters more than stupid traditions.
Kishi chose to save us. Outsiders will only make things worse. Come, Dapasa. Beal has made her decision.
Right, so we've got 2 Deadwater Naga and Beel Ranu. So this must be the story quest that begins doing the Deadwater Village. So who have we got here? The Passer?
You enter the land of the Deadwater tribe, Ojel. The elders will not welcome you. Best if you not get involved.
Okay.
Never been this close to a dry skin. You look weak and fragile. How do you survive when the plants in your land try to eat you?
The plants in our land don't try to eat us because our land does not. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. The command that does a lot of the sound effects. There aren't sound effects triggers anymore. If you look in the channel panels, the sound effects are for viewers and audience are in the creds, the little golden coin of channel points. So I have the soundboard here because we were getting quite a lot, and it was getting to the point that sometimes some people would just be firing them off right in the middle of dialogue, even important bits, and it was getting to the point to throw off the stream. So I have a soundboard here that I try and navigate, and then I've got some ones that I think won't get too oversaturated and don't get so overused. Oh yeah. You raised a valid point, but I'm able to explain it for anyone. You're the catalyst that allows me to do so, because as people are coming back, a lot of folks are still like, oh yeah, the sound commands. It's like, nope, things have changed. So Beel Ranu.
I spit that tradition and the cowardice it breeds. The Deadwater tribe is proud, set in its ways. But those ways will be the end of us. Even a stupid outsider can see such things. I mean no offense.
That's as close as they'll get to I mean no offense. So is there something you need help with? They don't tend to accept help.
We almost died during our trial of ascension. We would have too, except Kishi interfered and saved us. Now, by the laws of the Nagakor, the Deadwater tribe, Kishi has been sentenced to death. He should not have helped us, but I'm glad he did.
They'll really kill your friend for saving your life.
The elders stand by our traditions, even as the tribe sinks into quicksand. They refuse to reach out for any aid that isn't prescribed by the Tree Minder or the Kadilith. Perhaps you could help Kishi. As an outsider, you aren't bound by our laws.
I can try and help this Kishi.
Find Kishi's father, Boki. Tell him you want to help. He will know how to best utilize an outsider in this matter. Be mindful of Mewa Jez, though. She seized Kishi because he interfered. Oh, my spines quiver just imagining her reaction to an outsider.
Okay, so this is good. This won't be going through all of this evening, but this is a multi stage quests. So that bit came up of save the Deadwater tribe from extinction, and then the first quest, which is the one we're starting now. So definitely getting the impression already that this very isolationist, sort of xenophobic tribe is so set in its ways and so hostile to outside interference and changes to its traditions that, you know, it's stagnating and dying because they're too rigid. So we're going to find a way to make them rethink that maybe not all outsiders are bad. So if Kishi saved your lives, why punish him for that? Let's get a bit more information.
The path of the lily is sacred to our people. Hatchlings ascend to the rank of warrior by walking the path, ready to defend the tribe and survive the terrors of the swamp. Failure means death and a return to the Hist. Kishi interrupted that fate.
Your tribe prefers death to receiving a second chance.
I attempt to speak plainly. As Mewajez teaches, the swamp doesn't provide second chances, so why should we? If warriors can't succeed on their own, they endanger us all. Still, I am grateful I am alive to explain this. Kishi made that possible.
Well, who is Mewajez? This is the person who took Kishi in, apparently.
Mewajez is our tribe's Kadilith, our war teacher. She trains our novices to walk the path of the lily. Since she took over the responsibility, the Deadwater warriors have become stronger and more powerful. At least the ones that survive.
The ones that survive?
The Path of the Lily claims more lives than ever before. Kishi and his egg siblings were the last novices to complete the trial without injury, let alone death. More often now, entire clutches of novices fall to the dangers encountered on the path.
These new trials have either become so harsh it's actually counterproductive and impractical, or there's something not quite right about this Marwes so-and-so. So has the trial changed in some way to account for all these deaths, all those deaths?
Everything changes. The path, the Kadilith, training changes too, and expectations. Now novices die more quickly than new eggs can be hatched. Soon, the Deadwater tribe will simply be the Dead Tribe. I think that's why Kishi dislikes Mewajez.
Is that why Kishi intervened to save you?
I speculate now. Perhaps Kishi didn't want to see more novices perish due to lack of training. Or maybe his dislike of Mewajez got the better of him. Or it could have been temporary insanity. Regardless, he saved us, and I am grateful for that.
Where can I find Boki, which is Kishi's father?
Boki's home stands just within the village walls, on the western side of the Hist. Please, hurry, for Mewajez took Kishi away before the night had turned to day. If Kishi hasn't been consumed by a swamp beast yet, it won't be long now.
Oof. Okay, so we've got that, and Jaxic Orn. So that's two things that can be done nicely in order together. Curious thing is the Deadwater are absolute traditionalists, and yet they're actually living in much more old Argonian stone grounds and ruins, as opposed to the more modern Argonian approach of things being impermanent. Surprised. Because, okay, they're traditionalists, but they're still post-Sithis era, law-wise. But before taking... This is, quest-wise, a good little point to start wrapping things up. However, haven't done the daily dungeon. Now, much like I was saying with DLC order, I don't do dungeons, DLC dungeons that are ahead of... There's quite a lot of runestones around here, considering I don't have a special map that gives me a load of bonus bundle ones. Let's see if we get one of the lucky runes. Haven't done the daily random dungeon for the stones and a few other bits. If it comes up, for context, that's a dungeon finder. So random normal dungeon, yeah, for the premium undaunted exploration supplies. If it comes up as one of the later DOC dungeons, I won't do it because I don't want to run through that and spoil it for myself before I get to do it and take my time over it and do that. Each one of them will have a quest to go through. But if we get lucky, and it's a DLC I've done before or a normal base game one, 4 people doing it can usually sprint through them quite quickly. So I'll just put a little marker there, as I think we're nearly finished this Whispers in the Wood bit. It's quite an extended quest it's going on. And there's I want to say Black Rose Prison is actually a new arena, not as opposed to a dungeon. So we'll teleport back to Rimmen in Elsewhere. Do the dungeons have dragons in them? Some of them genuinely do, George. Yes. In particular, well, see, Northern Elsewhere, you see the dragon flying here. This is the this is the DLC, which story-wise I haven't gotten to yet.
About the dragon sightings in
There you go.
Elsewhere?
Even talking about dragon
dragons.
sightings.
Dark moons, one dragon is bad enough.
But yeah, the trial, this one, Sunspire down here, has got big dragon bosses, and these This is where flying dragon world bosses are introduced, and these things hit like trains. 14 odd million health. Very few people have one-on-one these guys at all. Define dungeon first before you answer that. True, I'd say trial. 12-man dungeons. I haven't seen any dragons in the fort. Dragons in the Elder Scrolls are extremely powerful, even the world ones, so they wouldn't put them in public dungeons like this, or regular 4-man dungeons. Okay, speaking of, nice little opportunity to show you all my home, Jode's Embrace. This is my primary premium home, and also because of the thing of dragons, some of them fly over. This is my current homestead, although I have enough crowns, the game's currency, because I have the premium subscription. I get a free amount every year. So at some point, some will fly overhead. So I've been tricking this place out as I go with various items and things that I found and unlocked or gotten, furnishings. So a little fake sky shard, this dwarven fountain. You can lose hours, days setting this up. This is my Wellward. This was the pre-ordered DLC mount for Blackwood. Got my New Life bonfire. A bunch of this stuff's interactable as well. Various Jubilee cakes 2021. Got my spectral. Just want to make sure I don't miss the dragon. My spectral Indrik. Probably the mid-year's mayhem. Blood bowl and some skeletons around it. A few little rocks. And what we got up here? This was a new thing recently. I don't know how I got it, but it was from the DLC we're doing now, Murkmire. A little bit of the Jesters Festival, dedicated area, and got Jester Anglador. Continues to juggle, never missing a beat. This was a nice one to get. A lot of the antiquity system that they introduced in Greymore chapter lets you dig up some quite cool things. I like that this projects this kind of light outside, so nothing coming from the inside, but it's a clever little visual effect. That's from Greymore. My Death Hound, got one on this side as well. Ashen Gate Furnace. My little Daedric bits, my little section more dedicated to evil. And then this is more dedicated to the Witches Festival and fungus and body parts. And I like to sort of put things roughly in categories and regions. The place I'm really saving up for, and then there's a bit over here that's a bit more sort of dedicated to Hircine and hunting and so on. That's just the outside bit. There's a cool backyard as well. I think it's maybe almost forgot. Now this took ages to unlock. This is the Sacred Hourglass of Alkosh, the dragon god of time, if you know your Elder Scrolls lore. And this is super cool because in your house you can use it to actually control the time of day rather than let it pass. So advance to afternoon, advance to sunset. That's pretty bitchin', right? Took a lot of event tickets and doing various things every day to get all the parts to do that, but it is so worth it. And then return to normal time. Set time to set, yeah, so that's back to normal times. It's so cool. I was very happy when finished getting that. Got these tusks as well. Some of the stuff I have to keep out of the way. I've got more than I can really manage for one house. So in my companions, once you level them up to maximum and you've done their personal quests, they can become house guests. Got mirrors and bits and pieces in here. This delightful. I can't remember how I got this. Oh, this guy's great. The Augur of the Obscure. He has some of the best dialogue in the game. He's part of the Sigic Order quest line from Somerset, that guild that I was talking about earlier. And he's got this Kiwi accent, and he has loads of dialogue as you go around. You can finally place him in your house, so you can talk to him. He's got some funny lines. I love his accent and his voice.
You don't have any beavers wandering around in here, do you? You know how I feel about beavers.
I've never heard that line before. Right. The thing is, he, even though he's in this crystal skull, this guy, right, it's actually a being of almost essentially limitless knowledge. Insanely powerful, can see all kinds of dimensions and time and things, but what it does is the references he makes to things and all the stuff you can see are just hilarious. Of all the things, you don't have any beavers wandering around now. So
be honest. Do you ever wish we hadn't broken the Staff of Towers? Just imagine a world of non-linear time. Wait, is your nose bleeding? All right, stop imagining a world of non-linear time.
Yeah, I won't spoil them all for now, but he's got so many great lines of dialogue. He's awesome. This little guy, you get him from Clockwork City if you collect all the parts. His quest line is rather heartbreaking in the sort of like kind of, oh, it sucks when he realises what he is and he just becomes a combat dummy. So this is my room for crafting. This is where you can save your sets and do your various things. So my DPS Magicka will save the build in here. For running through a dungeon, I'd actually switch to my stamina DPS, and this is the other Murkmire thing I was rocking. So you can see again greens and dark blues and oak armor. So this is sort of again what I was running around in for the DLC. This is fashion souls. I really do like to sort of dress the part. So I've got my jewelry crafting station, a couple of blacksmithing stations, woodworking. You can, of course, encounter these in any... There's Bastion, the other companion. There's 2 new ones now, but they take a long time to level up, so I haven't gotten around to doing it. You can put them on paths and stuff. This is just a generic NPC, Keldora.
Fighting's thirsty work, huh?
It is. She's my drinks maid. Or like rest his beavers maybe buried him alive in a dam, quite possibly. In fact, that is very Wolf. That is very fitting for the lore. That is very, very fitting for the lore. Would he like to rest his head on a beaver? Who wouldn't want to rest their head on a beaver? We're talking about the Canadian rodent, right? Oh, look how good that placement is for a smuggler, just behind the trees. And this is the sort of my Dark Brotherhood little shrine to Sithis there / Thieves Guild section. Little library, statues, all the bits laid out, mirrors, and of course clothing station and outfit station is in the bedroom because I make things fit the way they should. Then but yeah, now, oh, speaking of, I don't think I've worn this set for a while, so we've got a few more champion points to assign for it. Yeah, do that. Then I'll queue for a dungeon as a tank. I'm a bit dirty. I tend to go into them as tanks because running through normal is like it doesn't matter as long as you can kind of heal yourself, because most of the healers that go into there are rubbish and fake anyway. If you're queuing for a veteran dungeon, queue into your actual role properly. But for normal runs, it just doesn't matter, and tank and healers get faster slots. I'm way behind with trophies. I've got so many better trophies. These are all from just the base regular dungeons. I've got like veteran trial pillars now, so but there's only a limited slots for busts. These undaunted busts, so when you beat stuff on veteran. But yeah, I've got some plinths I need to play. So I've got the music box. Why isn't that playing? There we go. Fun little gongs. Got my giant map of Morrowind because I've got all the segments. This fun little phoenix feather. Sit here at the head of the table with my wash basin and my wine. I was going to start putting more of the trophies around here, but you can just lose so much time. Like I've got a whole afternoon or maybe one free evening to do some Elder Scrolls, and taking the time to trick out the house is not so high on my list of priorities anymore. Yeah, so here's a plinth. Like this is Lord Falgraven. That was when we beat veteran Kynes Aegis. So when you beat a veteran trial, you get a proper bust on a plinth. It's pretty awesome. North American wait, does the UK have beavers? I actually think it used to. I think possibly another hunt is on. Another hunt is on.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
If you want to get involved and get yourself some more chits, which you can use, we'll be able to use in time for competitions, giving yourself more chances to win free stuff when I get round to reintroducing them, which will probably be from April. And yeah, it'll be your chit tickets because I know plenty of ways people can bet more of them to get chances, and I'll figure out how to do that. So let's do an interaction, get a hunt. Good way to get yourself some points. Google says North America, Europe, and also Northern Asia. So maybe, I don't know, I think maybe the UK has some. They must be endangered or so on. So I keep some of my tanking gear for the other and the meta ones in here that I'm not actively carrying around with me. Who's this? Oh, is that? Not sure what that is. Veteran something. But this is a very cool addition to this house. Oh, almost forgot. This bitchin' glowing, look at this, like glowing fire egg thing. Yeah, anyway. Various knickknacks and bits, but this house comes with this portal to the plane of Jode and Jode. Pretty cool, right? My totally rad statue of awesome. I've actually got a lead for a third one of these things, which I should dig up. I've got it on either side. This is a target Ogrim. That is once you get this access to the statue, once you've beaten the main quest for the base game of actually defeating Molag Bal. All kinds of stuff around. Oh, and I should look over the top here. That is the actual moon of Jode down there in this special magical plane. It's cool. Yeah, it's such a cool thing to get all these like knickknacks and sort of ways to mark your achievements. But yeah, this statue is the bomb. We've got this shrine, Velos Reliquary. You can just, and then you can reassemble it and do all this kind of stuff. There's all kinds of fun little bits and pieces that you can get and pick up. So you have nearly 24,000 chits. Nice. Sorry that fires off twice. It's a very annoying little bug in Streamlabs chatbot that I can't seem to fix it. But yes, beavers are... I think I've watched documentaries in the past on native British fauna, and we do have beavers. It does indeed. It does indeed, as you've earned it. Oh, which one is the one you use? Mainly, it's George now, isn't it? Do you want me to switch that over to your George Probably account instead? Your preference, dude. That one, yeah. Okay, drop me a DM on Discord and I'll try and take care of that after the show, or at least certainly before the next one. Alright, what time is it? Okay, we'll see if we can get a quick dungeon run. Nearly completed the DLC kit. That said, that's if it loads me into one of the later DLC dungeons that I haven't done before. I'll have to quit out of it. Oh, a shadow of a dragon just went by. I missed it, damn it. But anyway, dragons fly overhead in this house as well, which is very cool. The problem is if you queue for a random dungeon and it's not one you want to do, and you quit out, you get a coward's bonus or a quitter's thing, because they try and discourage people from doing that, which is understandable. For 15 minutes before you can re-queue again, and I'll have to pause the stream before then. But let's come to here. But I think, let me just check the skills I've currently got available. Have I got a heal on this one? No, I don't. Oh, I also don't have any weapons equipped on that. That won't do. Pale Order, Order's Wrath, Stormfist. Oh, Snappy, you didn't have to, but thank you. Thank you. So,
Snappy
dude.
Tech for 14 months. Only way to check how many months I have on this account.
You've got months on both of them so much. You're going above and beyond on supporting on 2 accounts. That's absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. Do feel free to log in on one, enter a competition, and log in on another and enter. You get 2 apartments, and we'll knock the wall through in Citizens Towers, so that you get an extra large one to your benefit. Wave that flag loud and proud, and yes, that is the main one. 14 months on that, and the ones you got on George as well. Goodness knows how much that adds up to, but thank you for all the support you give in that way and various other ways, and just all round being a good egg. Very much appreciated indeed. Cheers. Now, Stormfist on there, Briarheart Yeah, this one's still using Briarheart and Belt of the Order's Wrath set. Why do I feel like that's wrong? Yeah, my Magicka guy is going to be better for this, I think. Firstly, let's put Briarheart daggers on each one. And then, yeah, he's got the Maelstrom's Perfected Sword. He's got Boots of the Order's Wrath all the time. I might just get rid of the Order's Wrath on here as well. This is for, it depends. What stone is this one using? He might be using, yeah, the Thief. Critical Strike. Okay, so the penetration on this is really, 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 really low. But the crit rate is pretty good, as is the damage. Let's see how we do. Let's see how we do, but I'm probably going to need to pull a heal in. And I'm going to need the Ring of the Order's Wrath. Do I still have it? Briarheart Band. Oh, good, yeah. We take that off. Because, yeah, one thing is we'll actually want heals from the dungeon passively. Blade Doodad, we need that. I can probably... might have to ditch Degeneration and give myself... oh, what the hell is it? Resolving Vigor as a quick self-heal so I don't end up in total trouble. So my DPS won't be so great. Alright, let's see what dungeon we get. Please be a base game one or an earlier one. Alright, we've got DPS and me ready. If it's something like Red Petal Bastion or one later, I'll just have to stop. Absolute winner indeed. I just have on separate browsers, currently watching both simultaneously. Yay for an artificial view count boost. Legend. Legend, 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 legend. As always, waiting on it. Well, not as always. Quite often you can be waiting on a DPS. You get a healer. Well, obviously a healer's ready because the dungeon's ready. We're just waiting for them to accept. Damn it. Damn it. I'm going to have to quit out of this one. I've never even had this one come up on the rotation before. So I'm probably going to get something for first time in here.
Your note said abandoned. As in, no one left alive inside.
Oh, I'm going to have to be an arsehole.
Take it to the Imperial census.
I don't want the spoilers. I'm going to have to be an arsehole.
It's why I'm alive.
Don't feel good about that. Oh, sorry, I hadn't switched back the scene, had I? Whoops. I hadn't switched back the scene. Unfortunately, I queued and I got Depths of Malatar, which story-wise is a dungeon that I hadn't reached before DLC-wise, so I'm not going to run it on normal and spoil it for myself ahead of times. And unfortunately, that means now I can't join a queue for another 14 minutes. So I've got to be at work tomorrow. Sorry, but I can sometimes forget to switch the scenes back. Okay. Okay. Well, I think nice amount done today in the story itself, which is excellent. I'll just wait until that closes out properly, and then I can move back to the middle. Yeah, I do try not to sort of stitch people up, but I'm gonna put my order of things doing that I want to do them ahead of what makes a bunch of randoms happy, because when I'm playing well. Okay, I'm actually going to play some music at any sort of level. Christ on the bike. That's a bit better. Let's give it a touch more. Okie dokie. Well, we'll wrap things there. Again, another bit of an experimental one. I thought I'll see how ESO streams as an actual stream, see how well the system runs it, because it's heavier on my system. It's running at 2560 by 1440, and then again is on OBS over there, re-rendering it all at the same time, and then it's uploading it all and doing all of that. And I was curious how that would run over time without too much stress on it. It's not like they're running through a trial with a billion things happening and going on screen, and it seemed to behave pretty well. And it was nice to just do some story stuff and narrate something in real time and be a little bit quicker. So thank you, or those of you sticking around and hanging out. Let me just go. It seems to have been pretty smooth. I've tried not to try and put all the settings and output up to maximum, because all that does is clog anything up if someone's trying to watch on their phone or is on a debatable internet setting. That's why I'm only putting out a bitrate of 6K and 1080p rather than turning everything up to maximum. You just don't need it. And yeah, it seemed to run pretty smooth, which I'm happy with. So I'll just whip through some credits. Thank you very much. Well, this will be nice and quick and straightforward. To Lord Darkens for 75 biddies 4 times over, startling me and trying to make me swear. Thank you very much indeed. And I didn't. I went 20 minutes with 2 back-to-back no swearing redemptions. Darkens gifting citizenship to Minecraft for Minecraft's 5th month as a citizen, and Snappy, well, George, re-upping a citizenship on your Snappy Tech account for a 14th month on that. Never mind the one you've got on George for 4, so a collective actually of 18 months between the two of them, which is excellent and exceptional and very gratefully received. Of course, to all you fine folks who've been lurking, listening, chilling, whether it was for 5 minutes, 5 hours, or anything in between. Of course, I will just do a quick little gotta be done. If you're not already, do feel free to take your full residency up in Cravenstown. If you've been a member before, we'd love to have you back in and hanging out. If you don't, well, the setting is a sci-fi town. This is a stream coming from the multiplex. It's the main show from the full entertainment complex. Bit of a combination of anything from a sort of cyberpunky quasi-dystopia to a full the Star Warsy. It's whatever you kind of want to picture it to be, but a kind of community that is people from all walks of life. It skews a little bit older. Most people in there work and have families, and so as a result, it's very emotionally mature, sort of very reasonable, plenty of good dark sense of humour, and just one of those nice sanity spaces in a world of fragility and safe spaces, but without being mean, without being nasty. It's just decent adults in a decent internet community living their lives and having a laugh and supporting the show. And if that sounds like your kind of place, go ahead. And if you haven't already, if you've been hanging out watching, like, I'd like to catch a bit more of this, do feel free to drop a follow, become a resident of Cravenstown. If you would like to support the show, it doesn't just have to be done financially. About the second Discord server, us mature and sane, yes indeed. It doesn't just have to be done financially. The various ways that you can continue to support the show and myself and the channel is clips, highlights, sharing this, telling one other person about this and it on, whether you think it's got some virtue and value as kind of background sonorous voice for the podcast, for the particular games I play, for the kind of people you can meet, but spreading the word, putting the show out there. It's quite an important thing as coming back and trying to sort of re-establish an audience, reconnect with people and make some new friends, expand the audience, make some new people. If you feel so inclined to do that, that really, really, really does help. It goes a long, long way and helps sort of facilitate all kinds of other things as well. And last but no means least, the socials, Twitter, YouTube, and I'm a bit behind. I've still got to upload Wednesday's show, and I'll be uploading this show, and then I'll be trying to start doing some highlights and individual funny bits on YouTube, and eventually expand that to be a bit more its own thing in the small windows of free time I have between my business, my job, this gym, hobbies, and everything else. But I will find the way. And oh, that was very awkward timing on and the Facebook as well. That was awkward timing on the timed sponsors. There's a lot of spam came up there. Let's have a little look. If there's someone to raid, we will. If there's doesn't look like necessarily a great shout for who, then we'll just I'll let you all go and have your respective Sundays. Oh, I know who will raid. My friend Indeedee. She's getting underway with some Grand Theft Auto 5. She's in Australia, so she'll probably be on for a good long while. And I haven't caught her or caught up with her in ages. She probably doesn't even know that I have restarted. So if you're able to join, even if you can't stick around, only if you've got a minute or two, and you just want to get on with things, then if you're able to join in the raid, I would really, really, really very much appreciate it. Let me militia, and here is the commands for you. So if you are a citizen, if you are a subscriber, take the one that's highlighted for there. If you're not, don't worry, we've got you covered. Feel free to spam that. If you can stick around, great, give us some support. If not, if you're able to jump in for the raid, I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. The next show will hopefully be back on Tuesday, provided I'm not sick with food poisoning or something silly like that. But until I see you again, thank you for being here, and as always, keep it legit. Good night.